so fast, all tied up like a captive. I'm on to you. Used to pay to run my life, standing on rainbows, playing it cool. I don't felt this in ages, and I've no more patience. So won't you please stay a bit longer? You're making me stronger, making me stronger. Stay a bit longer. You're making me stronger, making me stronger. You need stronger. Open eye, feel the waves cut through me. Hypnotized by the sounds I'm breathing in. Hold tight, chemicals collide. Hold tight, hold tight, hold tight. Dripping lights paint the skies, all because of you. Dripping lights paint the skies, only you can make me move. Can make me move. Can make me
Hold me close till I get up. Time is barely on our side. I don't wanna waste what's left. The storms we chase are leading us, and love is all we'll ever trust. Yeah, no, I don't wanna waste what's left. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll go.
What does perfect even mean? Is there even such a thing? Ooh, can we switch up all the rules?
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Mountain Mayhem. It's me, Alderia, joined as usual with my lovely co-caster, Rhodes.
Meow.
Yeah, I like the energy. I'm with it. And today we got a what could be a bit more of a one-sided matchup, but I guess only time will tell. We got Boba versus Pantheon. Boba looking really strong, especially as of late. 5-1 on a 2-win streak. And Pantheon struggling a little bit. 2-4 on lost their last game. Where are you leaning on this, Rhodes? Where are you on this spectrum?
I mean, on paper at least, you kind of have to side with Boba right now. They're 5-1. Their only loss still to, I believe it was Panda's Cuties, where they had that sub and did absolutely well. And we really haven't seen Boba falter that much since then. Besides that, on Pantheon, there's been a lot of highs, but there's also been a lot of downs. 2-4 now in the standings. Just haven't really found the right stride, I guess. They're a very up and down team. You can definitely see the potentials, but we really need to see them bring it across here, as we are going to be heading onto Boba's map, which, I mean, it is very much Boba favorite, at least at the start of this game.
Boba and Lotus is something of a match made in heaven. They are so very comfortable on this map. We see a lot of their best work on this map. It is a rough first map for you to be starting out against a team like them, especially when you've been on the back foot lately. So I'm hoping we've got something from Pantheon here. They chose to start on the defense, and to me, that needs to indicate that they've been cooking up something in the kitchen.
Either that or they're just extremely confident. We have seen defense actually be the preferred side for some teams in this tournament so far. It has actually been quite good for them, but the question is, how will it work out here when they haven't had the best start to this season in general? But I'm really interested to see how they are able to work it out, and they do opt for the Neon pick for Toxic Tony. We know Toxic Tony can be that good player on the team, but if they start off to a rough start, it does kind of get a bit dicey and can't really pick it up afterwards.
And we'll be getting a P10 out here early, something me and you have become a little bit accustomed to, so nothing out of the norm for us.
I think it's like 4 games in a row.
It's been pretty consistent lately. It happens. Some players have a bit of trouble loading in. I mean, just like we said, like we were talking about, this is a map that's lent itself a little bit more to the defense side than we've perhaps seen in previous history. So I'm interested to see how it goes. Observing brought to us, as always, by our lovely Ecstatic, who you can never hear. He hates you guys.
Such a beautiful man that guy is. Like, wow. Absolute Giga Chad in the streets. As we're going to see a lot of aggression here up through A main, and I'm not really surprised. We know that they want to try and find a lot of positioning around the map and not let Boba get too comfortable, and that's exactly what's happening early on.
Yeah, aggression is the name of the game for how you want to go about your defense here on Lotus, and it doesn't start out well. Toxic Tony, the player you highlighted that has to have a big game, is going to have to stand on the sidelines for this round as he's quickly taken out, and Fufu on a lurk manages to snuff out yet another player towards the broken door, which gives Boba the red carpet into the B site.
Yeah, and Fufu able to find the pick on the celery means that B site is super free. They have no smokes for this post plant besides Wonderland, but I mean, doesn't really have the best utility for retakes aside. So it's going to be very difficult for Pantheon to even get close to the site, but they're going to try their try anyway, and they're going to stack a bit up.
Serendipity spotted out on that flank attack by an alarm bot, so they're going to have an idea as to where they're coming from here. Scorpio manages to double up. They're now trying to work their way into this defuse, but the crossfire is so well set up from Boba. They're just going to clean up these last 3 players. The front line was not the threat.
I mean, Scorpio did all he could there. I mean, Scorpio is literally the 1v9 of this Pantheon team, has been like the backbone in general of Pantheon. They get these wins and losses, always has at least a decent game. And able to find those 2 picks, made it a 3v3, but the rest of the team just couldn't really come through. Like you mentioned, that cross there, the setup in general from the side of Boba was just way too good. Fufu will pick up 2 kills. Serendipity will pick up 2 kills. And I mean, they start off swinging. You do not want Boba to win that first pistol round because they can just turn it on. And Wonderland has to be careful here. A lot of gun down, and that's going to be a lot of damage and essentially a free C site now as... I mean, Wonderland's 1 HP. There's not really much to defend now.
Just very possible that Boba are just going to choose to bully this C site over and over again, especially if Wonderland isn't on top of how they're playing that position. If they're overextending themselves like they did a little bit here in this pistol, or in this second rather, this eco, if you will, we could see it get abused quite a bit.
Oh, Fufu. Oh, Tony.
Yes, Tony gets spotted out there. It does manage to sneak away, but it's going to cost a haunt. So that's a pretty sizable amount of utility out of the round for about 40 seconds until it's back up and running. Toxic Tony spots out Clays over here at A main, and it's just a bit of a stalemate right now. Boba are taking their time with this push, but it looks to be coming down on the A site as they open up that rotating door and start to flood in. Serendipity snuffs out Toxic Tony. It's looking like that plant will go down uncontested.
It's going to be really difficult to retake this here. Celery has a great plays, but just not enough. The weapon difference is too strong.
Bossy is just absolutely frying with that Guardian. Takes out yet another player, and the last one remaining is, ironically, the first contact in the round. Wonderland, who had been tagged up and forced to play passive, is now left in an unwinnable 1v5.
I mean, just look at the die to the bomb here. Not really much you can do. This is almost surely a flawless here for Boba. They played this round to perfection. They pulled everyone to that C site, or at least around it, so they're able to get the bomb plant pretty simply. We did see that bit of back and forth there with Toxic Tony, but either way, nothing really happened as the shots whizzed by, and very nicely done round from Boba. They keep all their weapons, and I mean, they're looking really good heading into this map.
Really good indeed, and like you said, just going down to the bomb there. Doesn't want to hand over any more ultimate points to Boba. This is gonna have to be a very strong round from Pantheon if they don't want Boba's economy to get out of control. They're looking pretty strong so far. This bonus could be a problem.
We've seen quite a bit of 3-0s to start off these series. I believe the last 2 weeks, both of the first games have started off in a 3-0 or more, so you got to be very attentful here if you are on the side of Pantheon, because you know Boba can bring that heat, and you can see them just corral the map right now. They're just looking to find any advantages they can get, any space they can get, and if you give them too much, Boba will capitalize. But Scorpio with a huge shot through the smoke, I believe, on the clays will make it so they cannot do anything on A for now.
That Scorpio is one of the main members to watch over here on Pantheon, and I can't agree more as they managed to find an opening pick here. On the other side of the map, there are some problems over here at the C site. Phobe Bridgers is gonna make sure it doesn't get out of hand too much, but still, with every gun that you lose in this bonus round, it's gonna put your economy even more and more on the back foot, whereas for Boba, they're going to be looking really solid, especially if they're able to run away with this round. 3v4 disadvantage, so it's going to take a bit of heavy lifting. There's multiple members on this Boba team who can step up and deliver those moments. So we're clenching down on this A site. It's a very slow pace from Boba, a massive style change that we've seen in them recently. It's been working out well as they find an A site uncontested. That spike goes down, and now the retake is on.
This whole round matters on Fossey.
Fossey tucked in at hell, can't get anything going. Scorpio manages to take them out, and Dofu is getting crunched upon, so it's all left up to Fufu, which is just too much to bear. It's going to be Pantheon keeping 3 alive and avoiding too much economic damage.
And mainly, that's a 3k for Scorpio. Gets that Nightfall online as well as Jiggly Tofu. So both the Fades early on will have their ultimate to use into this next round. And I'm really favoring Boba into this one. They are able to get 2 guns, albeit the 2 bottom frag members so far for the side of Pantheon. But either way, I mean, they have looked quite strong. Fossey definitely would have liked to have that kill a bit earlier on Toxic Tony, but either way, I mean, we'll have to see how this round does go, but Boba are looking still strong into this match.
Even looking at this, I'm actually very surprised Scorpio's actually not purchasing a weapon up for one of the other members. So as a result, there's 2 stingers in this buy for the defense. Pantheon, like I said, that economy is a bit of a problem.
Will Fufu clear this? This is going to be so tight. If they don't, this is so huge for the side of Pantheon.
It's a free upgrade to the rifle as well for V5. Now for Boba, and Toxic Tony has now acquired a rifle. They're just going to bail out and head towards where the action is and try and contribute with that gift put upon them from Fufu.
Scorpio has a Nightfall, so this is going to hit all 4 members and will absolutely destroy this.
Yeah, it's just going to send out that Nightfall in response to being hit by Boba's, sending out a lot of utility to try and get something going, and they're going to find a lot. All these kills come through in a matter of seconds. It's a beautiful crunch from Pantheon in a flawless round.
Huge round there, and like I mentioned before, those Nightfalls will come back to bite them, and that's exactly what happened. Tony's going to pick up the overdrive now, and that whole round was really just Tony able to tuck into B main, find the kill on the Fufu, and then rotate all the way over the C and help the team able to win that round. Of course, Scorpio did do quite a bit, another 3k for him with that Nightfall, I believe. So either way, Very nice. They tie up this game. They force Boba onto a weird buy, and really interested to see what they're able to do next.
Yeah, like you said, weird buy for Boba here, and that's a great round out of Pantheon. Very well highlighted on that Nightfall, and it completely dissects Boba. So they completely crumble. We're brought to a tied scoreline, and this looks like it should be a pretty simple round for Pantheon to convert, as long as they don't expose a weak link.
I mean, Wonderland is chunked out again, but with the better weaponry, I don't think they're too worried about it, especially with 3 members already being on the C site and even more damage being brought down. Phoebe Bridgers does get hit off a bit, but either way, Boba, they're still trying to find something around the map. They're trying to just bait this team around, and Phoebe fights 2, 3!
Oh my god, Phoebe is gonna stand strong on that C site, takes out 3 members, even gets quite a bit of damage down onto Jiggly Tofu as well, before finally being felled. So now Toxic Tony is left to hold on to this C site where Boba are coming back into. They're gonna crunch this mound position. It is a beautiful setup from Pantheon. It's 4 alive in this round as well.
I mean, we're seeing Pantheon start to ramp up here. They're starting to make better plays. They're starting to make some more macro decisions around this map, and it is really working out for them. They're able to find all these picks. They're able to find these lurker kills that is just so instrumental to what their defense is doing. And you're seeing why they actually pick defense. You can see the ideas come across, and we're starting to see some question marks from Bobo. We're starting to see them just kind of play the same things over and over. We know they're a very C-site team. They haven't really committed there. They tried last round. Phoebe said absolutely not. So I'm interested to see what they do decide to do here, as Toxic Tony is going to take up a very aggressive stance.
Guns back in the hand of Boba. What can they do with them now? They're going to continue to try and poke and prod at this C site, and this time it's Toxic Tony left alone to try and hold it off. Does get a support smoke from Celery. But Boba look ready to pounce out of this smoke and try and take over this C site. If they realize that it's only Toxic Tony here, this could spiral out of control for Pantheon very quickly, as the smokes will come out from the attack. They're going to be met in kind with another one from Celery. We start to see the defense rotate their way over towards the C site. Fossey satchels in. Toxic Tony 1-for-1. He's trying to wrap around, get anything more going, but Jiggly Tofu is there to shut it down. It's 3v4 in a post-plant situation.
I mean, they tried to call a buff there. They didn't want to commit any more members towards C because they know Boba's been rotating, and they worked that to their advantage. Now they have that player advantage. I mean, we know Phoebe can have these crazy shots, so if they're able to find one, that lockdown can come out.
Phoebe trying to get an opening out of the smoke, and it's just going to be cut down by Serendipity, who gets a little bit more spam damage as well, is standing on top of this box and standing strong. As Wonderland peeks into the crosshairs once more, it's going to be only 1 kill afforded to them before Fossey responds, and we're back to a tied scoreline.
I mean, we're in a very interesting game state where the economy now for the side of Pantheon is actually looking quite decent, and with that economy, Toxic Tony going to be grabbing the operator, still has the overdrive in the pocket too, so very good advantages so far for Pantheon. They definitely managed their game well so far, and I'm really interested to see what else they're able to do. They do drop that round, unfortunately, but now they have the lockdown for these retakes, and it can be such an instrumental thing to use, especially when you know Boba is going to be peeking the C side, and they have that operator that Toxic Tony's looking to bear off.
Toxic Tony hits the shot onto Fossey and just runs away with that pick. Boba have to play this one at a 4v5. They have the rifles to work with, but it's going to be a little bit harder now that they find themselves without their star duelist player.
The even worst part about it too, no showstopper for Fossey is now available. That was such a good ultimate to be able to take these sites. Now Boba has to look for something. They need to find some sort of pick or some sort of advantage in the round, because what you're looking at right now is Pantheon giving absolutely nothing.
BB is going to be under a lot of pressure, though, as that paranoia is sent in. The plant's going to start going down from Jiggly Tofu, and it will be committed. 4v5 post-plant. Boba have to hold on. This feels like a very important round for them to try and pick up, as Toxic Tony sends out his smokes. He's got the overdrive pop, but spam through the smoke off the tap on the spike. As the smokes fade, Boba are going to look better and better in this post-plant. The spam finds its mark, and everything is going their way. just absolutely unable to break through the front line is Pantheon, and they'll all get mowed down.
I mean, with Jigglytofu able to plant the spike, gets the Nightfall back, able to hit so many members of this Pantheon team, but why didn't they commit the lockdown there? You're on the B site. That is such a free position. You know where every single member of this Boba team is? You could detain almost all of them or just force them into you, but no, you try and take them on head on. You get Nightfall, you commit the overdrive and find nothing. Very big advantages that Boba can just find off these mistakes, and it works to a charm. Great round from Boba as they're able to gain the lead back. But again, we're going to see some aggression here from Toxic Tony. Has worked before, but gets swatted out.
It's just gonna fall back off of that haunt. Doesn't want to get caught in too much utility, and Boba are looking to potentially pick up the pace as they send in the satchels. It's gonna be Fossey over the top with the showstopper, not able to find anyone quite yet, and sliding across is Toxic Tony for a double. Phoebe chimes in as well, and Boba get mowed down on their entry. It's Fossey to try and step up here, looking for the kill on the Celery, but falling back. It's going to be Tofu to try and provide the support. Both these players are so low, and they have to hang on, have to play together. Fossey barely manages to etch out that kill versus Scorpio, and we find ourselves in a 2v2. Retake coming in from Mounds. Utility sent out, but Boba are just playing passive. They're such low HP. They don't want to take these fights, and that's exactly why, as Wonderland is able to clean both kills.
A late lockdown there from Phoebe too. Not the best utility usage. They do tie the game as they were 1 HP, but when you could have used that lockdown last round to actually win that round, you use it here, and it's a bit of a waste. It's a 9 ultimate orb thing. You might not get it back. There is 4 rounds left, but we'll see. Either way, they played that quite well. But that round, all Toxic Tony able to slide in, find that double kill. Phoebe finds that lurk kill on to B as well. Just huge kills overall, and these lurks that Boba's trying to do, these map aggressions that they're just trying to find around to potentially rotate towards, just have not worked out for them, and that's definitely been one of the parts of their downfall. And I really like how this Pantheon team is able to caress around them, able to just play around the mistakes that Boba is also making around the map.
It's a beautiful hold from Pantheon in the start, and although they do stumble a little bit as Boba managed to breach the site, they eventually come out with the round, tie up the score. It's 4-4. These two teams are back and forth, neither wanting to relent to one another. So now Boba are going to take up a more passive stance on this round. They're waiting it out and seeing what kind of over-aggressions they can punish.
Yeah, and it does look like Boba isn't playing too far up B now this time. It feels like Fufu has kind of just learned and is not taking the chances. We'll see what Wonderland does here, because is in this quite hard position, and it's a 1v3.
Oh, clean shot from Clays, though, and that opens up this A site to be taken. So there's nobody actively holding it. It's only Scorpio tucked in to try and cut off the cross. But that Viper's Pit is going to make it very difficult to find anything, and Fufu punishes that overstep from Scorpio, putting a very uncomfortable retake on the plate of Pantheon. Fossey on the edge of this Viper's Pit is just going to be holding, lying in waits. Toxic Tony to break through the front lines and get so many kills. Everything is falling apart for Boba, but they managed to stabilize. It's brought down to a 1v1. Phoebe versus Serendipity. Paranoia sent out, and location is known, but too low of HP, so Serendipity finishes it off, and Boba are right back in it.
That round looked like it should not have been that close, but then just able to breach that site so well. But Serendipity on the Omen actually TP'd onto the box. When the Viper's Pit went down, all the members of Pantheon were essentially out in the open. A very nice 3K for the Omen. 10-5-2, looking very good. But man, that round looked like it was so won there for Boba, but they do take quite a bit of econ damage, which will hurt them into the last 2 rounds. But either way, Pantheon finally onto an eco. They managed their economy so well for so long, but finally they will be forced to play it with weaker guns, as we see a trap play potentially set up here in B main.
Plays poking and prodding towards A as well. Knows that in these ecos, it's often going to be oversteps and attempted hero play, so just wants to shut any of that down. Wonderland manages to snipe Fossey out of the air as they mess up their satchel into the site. He's able to fall back as well to avoid this lockdown as Toxic Tony wraps the flank. It's going to be Clays to have to hold on and provide coverage for their team's backline. And, well, shouldn't be too many issues as Celery only has a shorty to work with. Is so far removed from this, teleporting into the smoke. Caught in a reload as Clays, but there's just still too much difference. And on the front line, Fufu will keep things safe for Boba. Clays finally cleans up that kill on Celery, and Serendipity takes up the front line with gusto. It's gonna be Boba bouncing back.
I will give it to Pantheon as well. They do make these hard rounds for them to win look even harder for Boba to win. Like, when they don't have these weaponry, it does kind of feel like Boba's, like, struggling around the map. You see Clays just be like, where is this guy? How am I supposed to shoot them? And just really well played overall. But, yeah, Boba, they win a pretty clean round. It's 4 kills, or they only lose 1 member, my apologies, and we'll have to see what Pantheon do decide to do here, as they do have that 4 ultimate stack. They have that Nightfall from Scorpio. They have that Overdrive back for Toxic Tony. 2 ultimates that I really want to see combo together and see what they can make of themselves. But Boba are nowhere near C for once in their lives, so we're going to see some rotates coming over, and we'll have to see how Wonderland and Phoebe can hold the site off. We know Phoebe's been super good at holding site, so I'm interested to see what does happen.
Pantheon have seemingly read this A hit well. They have both the Viper and the Killjoy set up to hold here. However, an overstep from Wonderland is going to potentially be a bit of a problem, as now Phoebe is left all alone. Does collect the kill on the Serendipity and manages to double up as well. Jiggly Tofu is low and peeking right into the aggression. It's a problem. Boba can't manage to stabilize. Phoebe holds strong in the back of the site. 3 kills on the round, and they single-handedly pull this round together for Pantheon, unless Fufu has an absurd clutch to speak of.
I mean, you never know what Fufu can do, but with the site how it is right now, it feels like he's next to impossible. And like I mentioned before, Phoebe in these holds is just way too strong, able to just find all these picks, and yeah, Fufu goes down. 4K for Phoebe Bridgers, and what a round in general. Able to hold the site, they push in, just not clearing it enough. Serendipity just teleports onto the box, and it's a 1-round game. Once again, huge for your defense on a 3-site map as well. So I'm really liking what Pantheon have done, and I'm really like the advantage they've carved themselves for the next half as we head to the last round of this one.
Potentially find ourselves at a tied scoreline, especially considering the bye here for Boba. Doesn't look too terrible until you look at Fossey with that judge. It's going to be very restricted in the amount that they can contribute in this round, unless they're able to close that gap. As for gaps being closed, B is pretty much off limits as as Wonderland pops that Viper's Pit. It's pretty much down to just A or B for Boba. Or C, not B. Wow.
Yeah, oh, Toxic Tony playing super aggressive here. 3 members coming. If Toxic Tony can find a trade, or just 2, that'd be huge with this positioning.
So close on this smoke as well. I don't know if they're going to anticipate the tuck in here. No, they don't. Clays goes down, and Toxic Tony is even able to get out unscathed. It's looking rough for Boba, and we could potentially be looking at a 6-6 half unless they manage to pull this round together. Boba are known to do that from time to time, and as that Nightfall goes out, Tony's going to have to dodge it. Now slipping back into the broken door position, and off the back of a Nightfall of the defense's own, they're going to kick off this retake, but they have to respect that showstopper that was held by Fossey. Toxic Tony pops this overdrive, just wants to get in the face of Boba and cause as many issues as humanly possible. Off the back of the haunt, can't quite get the kill. Serendipity holds strong, and in this corner is one of the only members that is extremely safe, yet still able to quickly respond to any actions. It's gonna have to do all of it though, as Serendipity tries to line up the clutch, but Scorpio denies and gives us a 6-6 half.
The 1v9 King Scorpio carries this team into this next half. Not really carries, but in that round did very well for themselves. And I mean, Ultimate just went back and forth. We finally saw that lockdown used to a good work there from Phoebe, able to push a lot of the members back from Boba, and just not enough shots went their way. Serendipity just can't do enough, and huge from the side of Pantheon to make a 6-6 half on a attacker-sided map, and you start defense. You could see the confidence in this team, and you saw them be able to pick up on all the things that Boba were doing wrong, and it worked to perfection. Great overall from Pantheon. Now can they build upon it? They're heading to a pistol. They really want to win it, but we know Boba, they can be super lethal on these, so they need to win this opening trade.
That is even as a half can go, and we're going to see how it continues here in the second as Boba possibly want to post up a good defensive half. We've mentioned that the defense has been a bit stronger than we've usually seen, and I feel like a lot of that can be attributed to Boba themselves. They've shown themselves to be one of the best Lotus teams on both the attacking and the defensive side. This Toxic Tony is discouraged from this push due to a paranoia. It's going to be Scorpio to wrap around and collect a double kill, but it's quick responses from Boba to keep it in a 3v3, and Clays manages to get another one. So now it's going to be up to only Phoebe in the 1v3 with only 6 HP as well. It's a really difficult clutch to try and win, and it will elude them.
The 6 HP clutch is not coming back this time, and I mean, Phoebe could do all their best now, top fragging, tied with Tony and Scorpio. But I mean, very nice play overall. You saw a bit of a crunch there from Boba. You saw them try and commit on 2 different or 3 different angles, really. And Clays really was the instrumental part there, able to find that double kill on site, which was actually open up for the rest of the team to be able to corral them in there. And that was really well done. You saw the right clicks come out with the classic. You saw the I can't speak. The Viper Molly come out, and very nicely played either way. Boba, they win their second pistol of the series, and they need it because, I mean, their mid-rounding in some of these gun rounds have been quite questionable. We'll see what this Pantheon team does decide to do, and B site looks like it will be their answer. You see Fossey with this outlaw could be huge.
Huge indeed. Fossey manages to take out Scorpio immediately. Although does have to back off due to being stunned up, can still be a nuisance inside of this round. Just swinging out the smoke, though, is a bit ambitious. Luckily, Jiggly Tofu is there to keep things in control, as once again, Phoebe is left with it all to do.
Fossey really went, I'm going to peek out and try and no-scope these fools, and it did not work whatsoever either way. You had your teammate there. You knew you were getting traded either way. Probably not the best to lose an outlaw. I think teammate might pick it. Actually, no, everyone has about the same amount of money weaponry-wise, but I don't think Phoebe can win this. I mean, we have seen these type of clutches before. It is very rare, and with what Phoebe has shown, I would not be surprised at the end of the day. But this is a Fufu Ares? I don't know, it's just... Okay, never mind. I'll shut up.
Yeah, I mean, Phoebe does get a couple of kills, and by a couple, I mean 3 is actually putting up quite a bit of damage against Boba here. They're having to respect this sheriff, and Jiggly Tofu goes down as well. What on earth is this from Phoebe? Now in the 1v1 against Serendipity, but such low HP to work with. Has to hit the 1 tap, and Serendipity peeks right into them. However, the jiggles are too strong. Serendipity is the only one to keep things under control.
He was like, wait, I actually have to try for this? And actually, that was wild. I mean, I don't like this jump in. It does kind of scare me that he's jump. I know he has plenty of time, but I mean, yeah, we kind of just, well, I really just written that off. I didn't think Phoebe could find all those kills, but with the bad pushes one after another, just giving Phoebe all these ones, I mean, they'll take it every step of the way. Very nice shots, able to essentially win this round for Pantheon. Yes, the score might go to Boba, but overall, that was a huge play there from Phoebe, able to find those kills, and will give them a huge advantage in this next round and potentially even further.
Yeah, I mean, I think we had both written it off, and although it does not go Phoebe's way in terms of winning the round, look at their ultimate economy. Already out at 8 out of 9 for that lockdown, which puts them significantly ahead of Fufu in this Killjoy ultimate race.
Yeah, we'll have to see what Boba do here. We're going to see some aggression out of Dune.
And Toxic Tony and Scorpio open up the round. Clays and Fufu did not have proper weaponry to hold off against that aggression. So now it's up to Serendipity, Jiggly Tofu, and Fossey to try and pick up the pieces. And the main player to keep your eye on is Serendipity, the only one with a rifle on Boba. The rest are just working off of sheriffs. And as Fossey peeks into this double setup, it's way too much to handle. Everything falls into these waterfall players. And wow, what a wrap from Wonderland to clean out the round.
I mean, what a flawless round in general. Very well played there from the side of Pantheon. They recognized the weaknesses of Boba and they kind of just took it and ran. They have a huge economy lead now. If Boba are not able to win this cleanly, if they don't win it in general, Pantheon are ahead so far in this game, but you never know what can happen. You know this this Boba team is very good on this defensive side, and Phoebe wasn't able to get an ultimate orb, so we don't really have that up just yet. But with them posturing towards the C site, that lockdown could come out. Scorpio's Nightfall could come out. Huge ultimates on the side of Pantheon could become available in this round.
Aggression out of Boba towards Rubble, though, and that could be a problem if they're able to deal with this Lurk of Wonderland and start wrapping the back line. As Phoebe is gonna... Actually, still doesn't have that lockdown. I think they fed the
Scorpio.
orb to, yeah, I guess to Scorpio. It's just weird that Phoebe still hasn't gotten their hands on their ult yet. It's rather interesting.
Well, they didn't die last round, so they still had it up as Wonderland with an engagement with Serendipity, and that's huge for the side of Boba to start off this round.
It's certainly huge as Boba now have a man advantage to work with, and they can start to bolster some other parts of this map. Since the B site under pressure, Fossey's going to call for some of that support. Toxic Tony trying to dash in, trying to get any kind of opening to tie up this man count, but it's not being given over by Boba, and that nade finds a lot of damage. Fossey lurking forward, and now Toxic Tony is caught out, not able to deal with the surplus of utility and angles. It's all up to Scorpio, has to swap to the sidearm, and it's too much to do. It's a hat trick from Fossey.
I think Pantheon in general are pretty fine with that round. They may have lost it, but they get 3 guns down and they still have that economy advantage. Very nicely played. But I do want to highlight there, Fossey and Jiggly Tofu there, with the Nightfall usage and with the nade from Fossey, able to just damage out Phoebe, could not participate whatsoever in that round, and just kind of combo together with the utility, able to find the picks on the site, and it really just opened it up for them in general, as Scorpio found a double kill, wasn't enough, 15-10-7. With Phoebe, 15-11-1. Very nice kills. We need to see Celery kind of step up for the side of Pantheon. Just kind of falling behind, but you're playing more of a support style, you know? It's not terrible, but definitely needs a bit of help here, as we're going to see Pantheon go towards the C site once again. Can Boba hold it this time? They've had quite a struggle doing it so far.
Wonderland not quite spotted out in this position, and Serendipity is going to eat a lot of damage as Tofu goes down. This is a bit of a problem for Boba. They're not able to get anything going over here on the A side. That's going to call for the rotate from the rest of the attacking squad. It's going to be Serendipity alongside of Fossey, who's now rotated into support. They're going to have a lot on their plate to deal with here from Pantheon, as Toxic Tony sending it into the site. It's going to deal with Serendipity, so everything falls onto Fossey's shoulders as they can't bear any of it. Scorpio shuts them down. The lockdown comes through as well, assuring that this plant will find its spot. This is looking like a rough retake for Boba.
Like I mentioned last round, those kills will bite Boba in the ass, as Wonderland will find Clays as well. All left the Fufu in the lone 1 versus 4 and will not be done. 3K for Wonderland starts the opening up kills and ends with the opening kill, or not opening kills, the ending kills. Either way, huge there from the side of Pantheon. They're able to get that run back. Their economy is still in quite a stable spot, while Boba's, once again, they're in the position. If we lose this round, or if we lose this round, we're kind of screwed. If we win this round not cleanly, we're kind of screwed. And that is kind of what Pantheon have been doing. They've been taking their advantages, and it's been very strong so far.
Get the ultimates available though. Both duelist ults are available and both Viper's pits are available. I'm interested to see how these teams are going to utilize them. So it's a very heavy stack towards A for Boba, and they've misread the situation as Clays is going to have way too much to deal with. Toxic Tony just tears through them, and this C site is completely lost as Toxic Tony is just continuing to press this aggression. They pull out the gun at the wrong time. Their shoulder is spotted and dealt with by Fossey. They have the showstopper still available as well to crack through the front line of this post plant. Boba have a very decent shot in this retake, but like you said, with their money being as low as it is, it needs to be clean. They need to piece this together. Fossey is going to keep pushing forward. Celery spotted out, top of the box. Serendipity doubles up, and it's a lot of pressure now onto Phoebe over in this mound position. Wonderland alongside them, and the Nano Swarm doesn't seem to find its mark. The defuse comes through, and Phoebe is the lone survivor for the attack.
These collapses of just brain usage sometimes for Pantheon will bite them in the butt, and that's exactly what happened there. Bobo's able to keep some quite a bit of guns into this next round, and 2 players from Pantheon playing off site when the bomb is on site. Yes, I know you have those nano swarms, but when they're not even placed yet from Phoebe, that just makes it even worse. If they were able to get even one off, that would have potentially delayed them enough to win that round. But since it wasn't, very easily done there from Boba. They actually are able to claw back in this. Now they have the Viper's Pit and still the showstopper they use. Just very nice advantages that Boba were able to find. Very good, just discipline from them in general, and just very well played in general. They're able to find those picks, and I really did not like what Pantheon did in that round. But we'll see how they attack A. They've been very good at it.
And pulled off that retake without exhausting any of their ultimates as well, so they still have quite a bit of strong pieces on the board. Toxic Tony, though, has managed to get the kill and knows that Serendipity is over here towards Pit, teleporting out. Clays, the backline, has managed to pick off Phoebe as well, as Serendipity is trying to work forward. Wonderland responds to Clays' aggression. Tofu sniffs out that there's one inside of Heaven, and Serendipity is there to pinch, but it's a 1v3, and it's way too much to handle.
I mean, the macro from Pantheon has been looking way better on their A site compared to their C, and once again, we're going 1 round win, 1 round loss, so this does technically favor Boba in the long run if you do win one, lose one, but since Boba actually committed a lot more economy into that last round, they're probably on track to lose it because they're on a thrifty here, and I mean, once again, look at Pantheon's economy here. They can buy into these next rounds. They're still looking strong. Yes, their ultimates aren't really coming up besides that Viper's Pit, but I mean, they don't really need it right now. The economy game is in the victorious hands of this Pantheon team, but can they hold on? Can they be strong against what Boba is about to do? Because they're going flank watch.
Pantheon have a very good shot at tying up this scoreline. However, their back line is going to be in trouble in a matter of seconds. Fufu has to hold off, has to try and stall out, but there's no more utility to try and do so. So Toxic Tony is just going to barrel forward and deal with the site anchor. As that plant goes down, there's going to be bodies looking towards this flank. It's none other than Phoebe with a Viper wall in their face is going to redirect their attention. However, still attentive to their flank. It's all coming down to Serendipity and Jiggly Tofu, who have managed to bring this to a 2v2, but as it comes down to Serendipity, it's too much to handle, and we find ourselves at a tied scoreline once again.
And that's a huge kill there for Celery on site. Has not had the best showing so far in this map, but able to find that kill actually is able to give them that round, and very nicely played overall. And I mean, yes, they had a pretty rough round there in general to win it. Like I mentioned before many times, their economy is still looking really good. This is Boba's game to lose now, as they have 5 ultimates on the board. They have their guns finally back. And we're kind of in this situation again where Boba has to win this cleanly, or they're kind of screwed for the round after. So I'm interested to see what the side of Pantheon can do here, what kind of advantages they look to get. And it does look like they make a lot of progress up through A and are playing slow and B. It's kind of like they know that there is a B site hit about to happen, because look at this collapse coming through from them.
Boba have been sitting on some of these ults for a very long time. Clay's, though, through the smoke, manages to get a kill, so they're still not quite popping some of these. However, there are two that are committed. It's going to be the Nightfall and the Lockdown put forth by the defense to try and repel this attack, but no plant went down, so it's a bit of wasted ultimates for Boba here, as Pantheon are able to just evacuate the site and avoid a lot of the fallout of those big ultimates. Able to just now pivot over towards this C site. Fufu left to try and hold on. Spots out Scorpio. Knows Toxic Tony is really close by as well. This plant goes down, and it's a 4v4 retake for Boba without any of their heavy hitting ultimates on the board anymore. They don't need to make it work with the weaponry. Clays and Tofu do well, but it's Scorpio to step up with a double. Has to go huge. A 4K clutch demanded of them, and just sits inside of this orb. Is going to start to work their way around. Could find themselves backstabbing these Boba members if they're not prepared for it. And no, they're not. Scorpio gets the kill, and now it's a 1v1. Clay's not sure where to go, is trying to push in, but Scorpio's just playing the time, and Clay's is running out. I don't know if Clay's has it.
It's gonna be close, but he doesn't. Clay's.
Oh my god!
Clay's loses the round for Boba because he decided to put up the smoke, and what a good play there from Scorpio. Sneaks around the site, and 0.03. What a round for Scorpio to give them essentially max point at this point, because look at this buy from Boba. It's just all over the place. It's nowhere near. They used all their heavy hitting ultimates like you mentioned, and Scorpio absolutely saving this game here for Pantheon and giving them that leeway to head to this next round.
What an absolutely insane clutch to take the lead away from Boba. And now Pantheon have a very good shot at running away with this map, as Boba are onto a rough bye, as you mentioned. They're now going to have to make it work, not only without some of their heavy hitting ultimates, but also without the heavy hitting weaponry. A lot of pressure sent in towards this rubble position, but Boba managed to stabilize well off of it. They get 3 kills, and all of a sudden Pantheon just fall apart. This looked like a round teed up for them, especially with how the last had gone. But what on earth has happened? They've lost the spike, they've lost their players, and now they're under so much pressure for these players to step up. Phoebe, we've seen some bright moments, and Wonderland's been fairly consistent, but it's all gonna have to be up to Phoebe in the 1v5, and somehow it's a flawless round from Boba.
I mean, I thought the momentum was so far in the favor of Pantheon. I thought they were just gonna win with everything there, and just Fossey said no. 4K for Fossey, just jumps into Drubble, just kills 4, and pretty easy round there from the side of Boba. They're back in it. They're not running down without a fight, as we're going to see them be able to buy for the last of this regulation now, and I'm really interested to see what does end up happening. Pantheon, they cannot have this collapse, but Toxic Tony has that overdrive back. We'll see how it's paired with Fossey's Showstopper, as both of them can definitely clash here, but I'm really scared for Clay's. Clay's been falling on the C site quite a bit, and it might happen again because we know how strong they are at attacking C.
Fossey has been sitting on this showstopper for very long, and now it's getting to the point where it feels like if you're gonna pop it, it needs to have a lot of value. Serendipity manages to take out Wonderland on the lurk, and Toxic Tony goes down to Fossey's showstopper. The overdrive is taken out, and this defense from Boba has suddenly stepped up as everything is falling apart for Pantheon.
What a round again for Boba. I feel like, yes, that C site was a huge factor, but I feel like one of the biggest factors of that round, and probably one of the main reasons they won it, is Serendipity at that rubble position, killing Wonderland. It makes it so they can't rotate over, but Scorpio does get Serendipity. You know, it's Scorpio alive, by the way. It's a 1v4. It's Scorpio alive. It is possible. They have the spike. That is a huge advantage, and you never know what can happen. I will finish my analysis after, but This is Scorpio we're talking about. This round is not over.
I've got an uneasy feeling in my stomach right now, Rhodes. We've seen Scorpio do some absolutely disgusting things before. And with a tap on the spike, might get a free kill over here onto Fufu. And ready for Tofu close as well. Sends out that Nightfall to cover the plant. And Fufu just has to respect this. Doesn't even know that the plant is going down due to being deafened from that Nightfall. And now 1v3 on the plate for Scorpio as that plant goes down. Boba are going to start moving their way into the site, playing shoulder to shoulder, playing off of each other, don't want to give over any of these kills, and Scorpio swings out, takes out Clays, and Scorpio, no way you do it again! 4 out of 5 found, and it's only Fossey to deal with, reloading, and Scorpio goes nuclear!
A 1 versus 5 ace for Scorpio, and like we were just saying, you had an uneasy feeling, and Scorpio, with the clutch of a century, the clutch of this tournament, will bring us the match point on Boba's map of Lotus. What a round! The 1 versus 9 king is here!
Absolutely insane from Scorpio to find match point, and that knocks Boba right onto their behinds as they scrap together a bye and lose such an impactful round out of Fossey with that ultimate. You mentioned Serendipity stepping up in rubble finally, and it all means nothing in the face of Scorpio.
If you don't take down the big hitter, it doesn't matter how many ultimates you use, it doesn't matter what you do, Scorpio is here to shut you down. Pantheon's backbone is one of the most dangerous players in this tournament. The stats might not always tell you, but I'm telling you right now, as they're going to be attacking this C site, can they hold it off is the question. Fufu and Clays have been having trouble.
And Fufu falls apart on the site. Now it's Clays stuck in the very smoke that betrayed him in the clutch and has to try and deny this plan. It's going to be Fossey to do so. A double kill out of the nade, but Toxic Tony's quick to respond, doubles up, and Serendipity is now stranded inside of the smoke. Tap on the spike, but as that Toxic Tony dashes in, it's too much for Serendipity to handle, and Celery closes it out. Lotus is lost, and Boba crumble.
What a map 1 we just witnessed. If you were not watching this, you must be depressed because holy crap, Toxic Tony turned on the Jets like I wanted them to at round number 1 when I mentioned before, and you definitely saw them be that impactful player that you know they can be. But Scorpio, the main guy, the main player on the plate, that I really hope we're getting them for the interview, because what a performance we just saw. What a game-winning round we saw over and over again. That's exactly what you need if you're on Pantheon to get back in this tournament.
It's going to be Toxic Tony being brought in for the interview here. Certainly had some bright moments in that map, and Toxic Tony, congratulations on barely cinching out Lotus.
Thank you.
Certainly a very close game, and I kind of wanted to highlight exactly that. We saw that map be extremely back and forth. There were multiple moments where it was one round after another where you guys just kept trading rounds and weren't able to really get any win streaks going. So how did you guys keep yourselves in the game when that was happening?
The team's naturally just unserious, so the more unserious we get, I feel like the better we do.
And
I
now
wanna
with that,
thank Beyonce.
sorry.
That's all.
Okay. With that crazy game and Scorpio, one of the main factors of saving it with you able to get these 3Ks in every round. I wanted to hear your thoughts about heading onto your guys' map of Ascent next time, and it's definitely going to be a very interesting one with all the momentum. So how do you feel about coming onto this next map?
I'm just excited to play. I'm excited to be here.
I mean, certainly brought an exciting map, and I only hope that this series continues to deliver, as Boba versus Pantheon is more than meets the eye, it seems. We're going to be getting ready for map 2. Until then, it's going to be a 5-minute break.
crashing down. All around this empty town, we're searching for the lost and found. But you don't care, you're unaware. Keep moving like the scars aren't even there. It's in the air, like a blazing flare. Just stare, cause the flames will burn us. I thought you were the one for me. That's why I gave you everything. Held you close by the stormy seas. Oh, you meant the world to me. I used to kiss your head when you cried for me. Hold your hand while the pain was over. Keep you warm by the roaring sea. You meant the world to me. Oh, you meant the world to me. Oh, you meant the world to me. My darling dear, you're never here. When I'm in pain, you hide and disappear. Like shadows in the atmosphere, charting the stratosphere. Yeah. I prayed for you and kept you near, in hopes you'd chase away my fears. I'm on my own, you made it so, and now I'm chasing nightmares through. I used to run with you through the great big leaves, laugh at you when you laugh at me. Hope for us because I believe the home was just you and me. I thought you were the one for me. That's why I gave you everything. Held you close by the stormy seas. Oh, you meant the world to me. Oh, you meant the world to me. Oh, you meant the world to me.
Do you remember how you held me then? Now you got me reaching out. And do you see you got me falling in more times than I can get out. Down in the deep of my mind, I crawl for you and you're always inside. Down in the deep of my mind, how long do I got to keep you, to keep you? Down in the deep of my mind, I crawl for you and you're always inside. Down in the deep of my mind, trying so hard not to keep you, to keep you.
Pantheon are looking to mount a pretty substantial upset in this league. Boba were definitely the favorites going into it, but now we're going to have to see a patented Boba bounce back unless they want to let this series slip away from them. I'm Alderia, joined as usual with Rhodes, and even Randy is going to be joining us here for map 2.
So,
Randy, I know you're only able to catch the end of the last game, but do you have any thoughts about what you're expecting to see in this one?
I'm expecting 40 kills from Scorpio, 'cause that's all I caught. But yep, that's it.
That's the only thing I want to happen, to be honest. I love Scorpio, great player, and he's going to be jumping onto the duelist, something we don't normally see. Usually the initiator player, and this is definitely going to be a very interesting time here for the side of Pantheon.
And Scorpio recreate the magic over on Jet is the question. Fossey gonna be a very respectable Jet to be going up against. However, has struggled to find their form, especially in certain matches of this league. One who was once touted as Fossey, Destroyer of Worlds, has definitely fallen behind a little bit when compared to certain other duelists.
I mean, you say that, but Fossey did tie in top frag last match
He did.
with 24 kills and 19 and 2. I mean, he played quite a good match. I think the rest of the team kind of just let them down. It was Fossey and Serendipity versus the world in a way.
Yeah, I mean, like in this match, it's definitely been a lot better from Fossey than what we've seen in certain matches. So I'm definitely hoping we can see more of that form.
And we're back on the Jet here. We know Fossey's a huge Jet player, so I mean, anything is really possible, but we are going to see Boba on defense here. I'm very interested to see what they can do. It wasn't the best time on Lotus, so I'm hoping they do a bit better job here.
It's going to be an aggressive start potentially from Pantheon as they put a lot of pressure on to this A main. They're just pushing up through, but that's where the Cypher utility is lied down, so it's going to be a bit problematic to push into potentially, especially if they try and work their way out through this smoke. Serendipity is just waiting and is going to activate that one-way cage. A beautiful setup to take Scorpio out of the round. They want to get them suppressed very early on if they want to have a chance at pulling the series back.
I do want to remind people too, this is a double Sentinel comp here for Boba, so if they are not able to get a substantial lead on their defensive half, it is going to butcher them later in this game.
Recon Dart sent out and Serendipity not able to take it out in time, and as a result is going to be under a lot of pressure being shot through that box. Is still going to manage to find the dink onto one player and is thriving in the chaos. Serendipity finds 3 and Toxic Tony has too much to deal with.
Dippity pities the rest of the Pantheon team. That is 3 pistols now for Boba in the series. They weren't able to win the last match, but they were able to win 3 pistols now in. We'll have to see what else they do, and that's huge for Serendipity. Staying alive on the side, gets spammed out because of that recon dart, but able to find some headshots onto Celery, able to find Wonderland Hue, which was also perfect, and just so much damage done that was able to find them that round overall. Now we're going to see them have these weaponry. We're going to see Tofu with this Ares, and we know how strong Tofu is with this weapon.
Boba did win all the pistols of Lotus, though, and it wasn't enough. Fossey inside of mid, and Tofu is going to collect at B main as well. But that could all mean nothing if they're not able to string together their buy rounds, which is certainly where Pantheon has been the stronger team.
This time, though, Phoebe is down, so we're not going to see any miracle share shots here. But Fufu might get taken down Will, but the rest of the guns just are not enough. Pretty simple round win there from Boba. It's kind of looking a bit similar to the first map, but you never know what can happen. You know Pantheon can pull stuff out, and we'll have to see as they're heading to their gun round.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that Byron could not have been more perfect. I mean, they were allowed to lose 1 gun, and they did. In terms of alts, I don't see anything especially fun. I mean, Cypher ult is just simply Cypher ult, but yeah. This round is going to be the one to win.
Don't you talk shit on the Cypher ult.
A Neural Theft Enjoyer? What the hell?
Dude,
I
Neural
play
Theft
Cypher.
it's so good. I love it.
It's good.
Neural Theft Neural Theft is one of those ults though that so much it very much depends on the skill level of your IGL, I feel. If you're able to throw that out and your IGL is really good at mid-rounding off of the information, it can be invaluable to certain teams. But if you don't have somebody who's as capable of something like that, then it certainly loses a lot of its value.
Celery did not pass the skill check. The fight Clays there opened up the peak, and I mean, Celery has just had not the best time this tournament. Is more the supportive Omen style that we are used to seeing from them, but needs to kind of pick it up here as they do fall behind in this half. We'll have to see if Falsey can hold this up. They have the high-low with Fufu, but we'll actually give it up here.
Toxic Tony gonna send in the flash as well to break up any setup from the side of Boba. Fossey peeks in and actually dashes forward right into the front lines. Got a tag down though, and two of these players from Pantheon are extremely low. Boba dangerously close to converting this bonus, especially if Pantheon aren't careful. And as 30 seconds is on the board, they're going to start to make some noise back towards mid. This gives Fufu information that it's going to be a B execute in through market, especially off of that neural theft, and Fufu will collect. Boba find a bonus.
Fufu Ares, name a better duo, as just absolutely shuts down anything they're trying to do. Talk to Tony, the lone person with actual HP, throws the knife and gets absolutely decimated. They are going to keep this Vandal into the next round, which I'm not really sure is the correct answer here, but either way, they are confident to keep it in. They're going to have a lopsided money here for Wonderland. I'm really interested to see what does happen, because this kind of feels like what almost happened in the last map. Boba were almost able to find that 3-0, but some heroics from Pantheon did stop it at the end of the day. Now we'll have to see if they are able to push back against this 3-0 from Boba. They are looking strong so far. They look like they have that tuck. Can Pantheon find their way through this gun round?
Pantheon, what do you have on the plate for us? Can you pull off something crazy with the lower weaponry? Fossey with an op is going to be difficult to deal with here on the catwalk. A very long range fight for Wonderland to try and pull out.
Yeah, I mean, Tofu now has the Odin too. So many upgrades from previous guns, but Tofu doesn't have the best help right now. Of course, Serendipity will try and spam out a bit, but if Serendipity gets pushed off of that angle, it's all of the Tofu in this lane position and could give this Pantheon team actually some leeway onto this B side, able to find a potential gun upgrade. But can they do it, as they will be pushing now?
Fossey is going to be a very difficult player to diswatch potentially from market here. Is spotted out by the Owl drone, so going to have to take a more passive stance. Scorpio has managed to upgrade to a Vandal. Fossey does manage to snuff that player out and almost finds a wallbang as well, but Wonderland left alone in the 1v2, and it's too much to handle. Just going to be taken out. A lot of bodies on lane.
Boy, like Fossey hit maybe a few more of those shots if you are on Boba, but I mean, finally is able to land some of them. Tofu actually able to hold on to that site for quite a bit longer since he didn't get pincered like I thought he might, and Serendipity was the one that went down early, which definitely was out of my foresight. Either way, very nicely done from Boba. They don't lose much. They have a huge economy advantage. You see Fufu now maxing out. Very nicely done. We're going to see the guns pulled out here for the side of Pantheon. They have a null command, which could be absolutely huge, but I really don't like, since Wonderland did keep that gun last round, does have the gun disadvantage into this one.
They set up with the one-way smoke over at A main. It's just gonna have to be diligent from the side of Pantheon as they start jumping past that smoke. Clays has to respect the players here and manages to get the smoke off before that null command takes away his abilities, and pushing right back through the smoke off of Serendipity's contact. It's gonna allow Clays to pick up yet another kill. Toxic Tony goes down. Null command is dealt with. Wonderland trying to harass from the catwalk, and Serendipity is just so strong on the site.
I mean, Randy, what's your assessment right now? I do not know what Pantheon needs to do to get back in this.
I mean, my assessment is that it is a double Sentinel comp playing defense on Ascent, and as unfortunate as that may sound, I think Pantheon maybe just needs to get kills in 3 rounds. And I think they'll be good to go. I think also starting to farm some of these ults, we're going to see the Killjoy ult and hopefully the Sova ult come online as well. And the KO ult did come out. I think it was a little bit early and didn't really have a lot of support behind it, but those big Killjoy and Sovalt should be able to get them at least one round collectively, maybe on their buy round when they have, like, guns.
Yeah, I think that no command came out just a bit too late there because of Clay's actually able to get that smoke down. So the two players that pushed out of Scorpio and Toxic Tony, they had no support behind them because the rest of the players were stuck behind the smoke. They didn't want to gun down, and that kind of just fed into that round win for the side of Boba, and really well played. But like you said, that the ultimates are going to come up soon for Wonderland Phoebe Bridgers. Definitely some huge ultimates on the board. We'll see what Boba can counter with because they're even pretty close too. The Hunter's Fury is one off as well for Jigglytofu. So we'll have to see how they do defend this round. We'll definitely see some things changed up here as this is a timeout for the side of Pantheon. And I wouldn't be surprised if they try their hand at B side again, but it does look like they want to go back towards A.
Yeah, I mean, going into a B site against Cypher can always be tricky, and this is a situation when there are two Sentinels and neither site is particularly favorable, unfortunately.
Yeah, and they're going to keep trying to poke Clays with this one way, but it's just so difficult to get behind. You saw them use the utility and kind of failed out the utility quite a bit last round to try and get past it, and they eventually did, but it was way too late. We'll see if Clays does hold strong here with the one way. Is, yeah, going to use it across the map. Nothing else will happen, and we'll have to see if they can hold it. It's definitely going to be a pretty easy take here for a main, but can Clays stay alive is the biggest question.
Scorpio has slipped past Clay's line of sight, though, so any small overstep and, I mean, pulling out the smoke at the worst time is also going to be a factor there. Scorpio manages to get the opening pick here. It's going to try and break through onto this A site. They'll do so successfully, getting that plant down. With Scorpio having one of the only, or has actually the only rifle available to Pantheon right now. So I'm looking to them to try and step up in this post plant, tucked in close to hell, and most likely just going to play off the contact of their teammates. A Celery swings out, flushed out from the shock darts. It's a good setup from Boba to try and get back into this round, and they will gun these players down in hell. Everything's up to Phoebe, and it feels like just a little bit too much for them to handle.
Could Fossey hit these shots? I feel like we're seeing a lot of whiff shots here from Fossey. It doesn't matter. Phoebe staying alive is worse. It's actually fine. Actually, they have a lot of money, but not the best. Phoebe staying alive there doesn't get the extra money. Either way, very nicely done there from Boba. That's 6 in a row. Pretty strong hold. Yes, we did see Clays unfortunately get timinged out of the wazoo, but overall, not bad. I can't tell if I'm lagging right now because my game's kind of freezing, but Serendipity 10, 3, and 6 here on the Cypher. Absolutely phenomenal. We'll see how they can do in the next half, but right now, if Boa can continue on this pace, even with their double Sentinel lineup, I don't think it will matter.
He's getting aggressive over here in A main, and Scorpio's going to punish that. However, Fossey finally starting to find their stride with the operator potentially, as they manage to snipe out a player in top mid. It's a 4v4. As that lockdown comes through, it's going to result in the B site being evacuated. On the other side of the map, Fufu has gone down on A, which means Pantheon are going to start to press the gas over onto that site and try and take it away. It's a very spread out setup from Pantheon, but it results in a plant nonetheless.
Another breakdown here from the strategy of Boba. They try and push 2 players out in main, something that's not really useful at all. Like, you're taking that small percentage chance of doing these plays, and the macro does not work in their favor. Cypher will spot out 2 players, so they will have some understanding, but we'll have to see how it goes. 3v3 now.
Clean shot from Serendipity to kick off this retake, and that hands over the neural theft to the defenders as well. Fossey missed shot at the crucial moment. It's going to leave a lot onto Serendipity's shoulders as he has to do it all in the 1v1, and that spike is pretty far gone in terms of time. Has to stick this to half, so Wonderland's just going to peek out, but a fumble from Wonderland means that Serendipity has found this clutch.
I can't believe what I just watched as the Phoenix spray comes out, and I mean, what a collapse there. Wonderland with the missed right click didn't go for it, and oh, that is, I mean, I don't know what to say. That is just so sad. That is exactly the opposite, like you mentioned, Alderia, from what happened last game. The collapse of the macro just dies down. 7 in a row now for Boba. Around that, they should have almost guaranteedly won. They had such a good play there. They had the bait, they had the switch, and they had the bad plays there from Boba, and everything just went down.
Serendipity is now going to be the first to fall. The only one left in the last round has been taken out. Fossey and Clays respond. Clays picking up the operator and having a little bit more success than Fossey did, who's wanting to just swap over onto the rifle and play a bit more aggressively, which is working great for them.
Fufu with this Odin, man. What a beautiful shot. I mean, it's an Odin, right, at the end of the day, but, like, able to find a lot of these skills, and sorry, that was Tofu with the Odin, my apologies. Just able to find some really nice shots there, able to poke them out, able not let them do anything, and we're 8-0 now. The ultimates are flying across the board. Toxic Tony finally has that null command up, while this Sova for the side of Pantheon still hasn't really used the Hunter's Fury. No time for it, I don't know, but this hoarding definitely is part of the reason why they're not able to find rounds. As it does look like they're going to be poking into an operator again, but Clay's is the one with it. In B main, we'll see if they do. If they peek this, it's a huge advantage here for the side of Boba if they can find this pick.
What on earth happened in between the maps for this complete change in dynamic between these teams? I mean, Pantheon is nowhere to be found, and all of a sudden, we're looking at, I said it early, our patented Boba bounce back.
And we'll have to see what they can do here. Enda Fossey now has a rifle for the first time in a while, and we'll find an opening pick to start it off.
Vandal treating Fossey a lot better than the op did. A clean shot to take out that KO'd is traded back, but Jiggly Tofu is there to keep that res from coming through. This KO will bleed out, and Boba are looking good.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Static, I think Static is laughing at the fact that I just said a robot bled out.
It's Odin Mayhem here.
Away.
This is, I mean, it's just Gatling gun central here for Boba. I mean, we're just seeing the mental collapse here of Pantheon. I feel like we're getting to the point now where it's like, hey, GG go next. We know we can beat this team. We beat them map 1, but we are starting to see Boba just absolutely pop off. Tofu now with this Odin is looking to destroy this Pantheon team if they push through it. They have an eco round. And they'll just does not get that turret just yet, as they will actually find a leeway through.
Get the turret, but gets quite a bit of damage down. Both the Jet and the Sova are playing at pretty low HPs, and Serendipity still has cages to work off of as well. And like you said, a gap in the smoke. As Clay's left on the site with this operator. This is really difficult to break through.
Man, this feels like a comp game right now where it's like, what do we do into this? It is so difficult to try to attack this comp. Yes, it's a double sentinel, but it doesn't even feel like the sentinels are the ones doing anything. It's these Odins, it's the operator. The weapon advantage is just too strong, and the macro is just not coming out so far for the side of Pantheon.
If we even spots Scorpio tucking into logs there as well. This is looking absolutely hopeless for Pantheon.
And the shock dart.
Scorpio just has to tuck in and can't avoid the Odin spam forever. It will eventually find its mark. Toxic Tony gets tagged a little bit by a shock dart. Phoebe has to be careful.
What do you do?
Taken out. Dude, I don't know. How do you break through this?
This is just hell. I think this is actually what Valorant hell looks like. I mean, it does look like Serendipity might get taken down here with the aggressiveness, but no,
Pantheon look lost.
Oh my god.
Randy, as our local big brain Valorant expert, how do you counter this?
Well, I mean, obviously this comp is brutal to play against in defense, but I think as we've seen the mental collapse from the attackers, we've also seen their utility. I mean, we aren't getting knives to disable a lot of this util. We aren't getting flashes onto sight. We're seeing a Jet dash in essentially on their own, and then a single Omen smoke completely melting the team behind them. I think they need to start realizing they have to coordinate their util, and they need to play together, or they have to fully invest in lurking across the map. They can't have this weird in-between halfsies.
I mean, you said it the best. I mean, that is we need to see what this Pantheon can do. They need to start playing like a team. You're even seeing Tofu now just throwing out the ultimate, trying to find some damage. Won't find anything, but I mean, I don't think they care at this point. We'll have to see what Pantheon does do. It does look like they want to go towards this A site, bait out the B. We've seen it before, and Wonderland will be able to start off onto Serendipity.
Finally, a silver lining here for Pantheon. They get the opening pick and can start to try and work this map, but Fufu is there to cut down Scorpio. Quick response, though, and Clay's inside of trees just absolutely destroys Celery. So it comes down to these players inside of B main to try and break out. Fossey is set to receive them, but as they lurk out, they might manage to get this timing. Fossey gives away their position towards the steps and now is under a lot of trouble as Phoebe closes that gap. It's going to be up to Jiggly Tofu to try and deny this plant from coming through, but has overstepped the mark, and now it's Clay's left in a 1v3. Can they deliver in the same way that we've seen Scorpio? So they're noted to be towards lane, tagged up by the owl drone, and they know he's over towards step off of the teleport as well. Stalled out by the flash. This is looking less and less likely by the second, but Clays manages to isolate the kill and can now collect the final onto Phoebe, who is low HP. One bullet is all that's required from either of these players, and it's going to be Phoebe to just etch it out the first round for the attackers.
The 13-0 dream is gone as they finally, Boba overstepped their welcome. And now we can see a potential 10-2. You never know what can happen, you know? You can't count Pantheon out. You kind of can at this point, but you can't count them out. We'll see what they can do. We've said that these games have been over before, Adiri and I, and you never know what can happen in this league. Just like last map where we saw Scorpio go absolute batshit crazy. And we'll have to see what happens now, as it's only Tofu on this B side once again with his favorite little toy of the Odin.
Tofu just sending out the damage, and Wonderland gets sawed in half by it. That's going to be rough for these attackers as Scorpio gets caught in the wire and can't get past it. This defense is rock solid from Boba.
Just turrets at this point, with just Odin turrets just standing on each site. You have to try and push past the spam of death. And I mean, it's just way too difficult. They're like, what do we do? It's going to be 11-1. I don't think they can win this. It is going to be so difficult unless Boba do some crazy, just crazy anything at this point. It is just, what is this team?
And you said 3 was all they need. How about 1? How's 1 looking? Oh, man. Fossey over the top with the Blade Storm as well. It's 2v4 as we go into this post-plant. Toxic Tony and Celery left to hold off this entire red-hot Boba. As Static is exclaiming, there's a deadlock ult coming in, and as that neural theft comes through, they're gonna have all the information, and it's all falling apart. Wait, what? Okay. Toxic Tony almost okay. That was almost something wild. We almost completely glossed over Toxic Tony doing something disturbing.
Sorry, Tony. It's just not meant to be. This game's over. Like, what are we watching?
That could have been the most undercasted ace in history.
And that's where it gets exciting. I mean, we know that double sentinel comps, regardless of what map, are pretty strong on defense, much less on an ascent defense, but I'm not sure if the team is prepped for this, but there are some really interesting things you can do with this comp on attack as well. So I'm just curious to see if they are planned for that as well.
Me and Rhodes are laughing, and Randy is still locked in. She seems to think that there's still plenty of map to be seen.
No. I just love this comp. I love the Cypher deadlock.
Randy just wants 5 Sentinels.
I love Cypher on Ascent. I love getting to see Cypher on Ascent.
I can't wait for the 5 Sentinels versus 5 Sentinels game. I can't wait till that's meta.
Hey, I was on the receiving end of your 5 Sentinels comp, and let me just say it's terrifying, Rhodes.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, absolutely destroyed King. I wonder I do wonder if Boba can win a 4th pistol in a row and bring this to a map 3. It's almost essentially going to a map 3 at this point, but we have seen Boba just absolutely dominate in pistol rounds thus far. So I'm really interested to see if Pantheon can actually step up here with their own pistol round, maybe look for these picks. But with how everything is set up currently for Pantheon, it's just going to be such a hard take or retake onto this A site if they're not able to find any picks here.
Like you said, Boba's been so strong in these pistol rounds, so this could be the nail in the coffin in the closing moments of Ascent. It's not going to go great for the opener. Serendipity goes down first, but Fosse's quick to respond. It falls back towards Jen. A beautiful stun onto Heaven from the deadlock. Toxic Tony trying to keep things competitive, but they still have to get past Fosse, who is just holding strong at Jen with this Sheriff and is going to try and collect one more. Will do so effectively, and Tofu's left in the 1v2. Scorpio's very low. Wonderland pushing up, but the right click lands, and now Scorpio is left with it all to do. 1v2, and Jiggly Tofu is too clean.
I mean, this game's over. I mean, 4 pistols now for Boba, a clutch for Tofu. 14, 6 and 6. A lot to do with that Odin. And I mean, just a pretty clean all-around game for each player. Yes, Clay's probably wants a bit better KD, but I mean, look at just Boba's team: 16 and 7, 14 and 6, 13 and 6, 10 and 5, 9 and 6. I'm not counting the assists here because it just doesn't even matter at this point. Boba is just looking too strong, and this force has to be good now for Pantheon. They need to find some sort of momentum to head into this next map. They need to find something, because at least in the last match, it was close, so Boa could just talk to each other. Yes, they had one bad clutch or anti-clutch that went the other way, but they still were like, okay, this map is so winnable. We made some mistakes, we're fine. But in this one, it's just a whole collapse here from Pantheon. So we need to see if they're able to find anything at the end of this one.
I mean, I don't know if they will be able to find anything. Boba are looking too rehearsed on Ascent, and we could be looking at the final round of this map, as it's going to require 3 to figure it out between these two teams, but recency bias definitely leans towards Boba perhaps getting it together and running away with this series.
Definitely just see how Pantheon do end up playing this, as this is another free site here for Boa, but how will the retake actually happen? We see only 3 members towards the site, and Toxic Tony will give his life away.
Serendipity loves his Bulldog, and Toxic Tony is going to be on the receiving end of it. Goes down early in this retake. Fosse adds to the grief of Pantheon, and this is looking like a GG go next situation. So it's 3v5, and there doesn't seem to be any urgency out of the defense. Can't say I blame them, because every time they push a little bit forward, they get cut down.
Yeah, it looks like it's just going to be a pretty nappy take here. I mean, Celery will find one, but this map is going to Boba. 13-1 with one of the most dominant games, if not the dominant game we've seen in this tournament. I mean, I don't really know what else to say. That was just absolute dominant. There's really nothing to say that was good coming from this
Boba for
Pantheon team. It was just so clean from Boba. I don't really know what to say besides that.
Who is me?
Dip. Serendipity
guy.
Okay.
Damn, can't even remember your name. That's crazy. I would never do that to you.
Bro. All right, and we're going to be getting none other than the Serendipity for the interview. One of my favorites. Hi, Dip.
What's up, Aldaria?
How's it going, man?
I'm doing great.
I want to point out, I only didn't recognize it because I am alt-tabbed, all right? That's
fair, that's fair.
Yeah. Looking good today, man.
Thank you, appreciate it.
And definitely looking good in the server. A very clean Ascent for you guys. And look, I'm just gonna say it. I've mentioned this before. I'm working on the trademark, the patented Boba bounce back.
Yeah, no, I think honestly, that was like our mentality. I won't lie. After the first map, I deafened and then left and then just played a deathmatch because I had to like clear my head. Came in a second map, knowing that Ascent is our map. We do really want Ascent. We have a lot of good strats, and now it's just kind of mental reset, really confident in my team. And then after we won like the first couple of rounds, like in a row, winning bonus, we were like, okay, we got our groove back. And then from there, we just kind of played our game and it was really good.
I feel like we haven't seen you guys on Ascent very much, so I want to hear your thoughts about heading onto that map that definitely is still newer. Of course, the strats are kind of set now, but I just want to hear your thoughts about heading into that one.
I mean, Ascent is like my favorite map in the game. It's been my favorite map since it came out. I've always liked Ascent. I think that people call me a raid boss. There's a reason for that. Like check my stats on Ascent, bro. Like I don't lose. But no, actually, like I just really like Ascent. I think our team likes Ascent. We play really well around extremities, and I think in general we just are very good at communicating on Ascent. Our rotations are good, and we just like we overall just play well. I mean, it's like I think it's like I would say that I think it's like one of the most popular maps in the game. Like everyone kind of likes Ascent. So for us, it was just kind of a very a comfort pick, or not even a comfort pick, but like a comfort map that fell to us. And for me, it's just like my favorite map. So like I knew I was gonna go crazy on Ascent.
Well, congratulations, you played just fantastic overall. So, I'm just wondering about your comp. I mean, I'm personally a very, very big fan of that comp, and I'm just wondering who thought of it. I mean, who brought that up to be played on Ascent?
So funny story. When I was trialing for Boba, they were talking about Ascent comps, and I was like, I am a Cypher main. Like if you look at my tracker, I only play Cypher and Gecko and ranked. And like I've been playing. I want to play Cypher literally since like the first like beta trailer came out of him. So like on Ascent, I have so many different setups and so many different variations of things. And so I think like for them, we were kind of talking about it, and it was like I think it's more valuable for us to run double Sensi because I'm so comfortable on it, and because we can do so many different things versus running like a double initiator, running like a KO or something like that. So it's really just about comfort for us. And I think that on defense, we just end up kind of like stomping teams because we just have really good setups and really good just like our util is just like very like suffocating for a lot of teams, you know?
Yeah, perfect. Thank you.
I mean, Ascent was certainly your guys' map, but now we turn our heads to Abyss, where we're going to see if that Boba bounce back can keep the ball rolling. It's going to be a 5-minute break as we get ready for the final map of this series.
Oh, you make me wanna talk back to you. Say it like that. If I hate you, then find someone new. Baby, but you know I never will. No, so I choke you down just like a pill.
Never ever find the right words, and there's no way this is real life. There's no telling you're the right girl, so I can only say that it feels right. It feels right. It feels right. Yeah, I can only say that it feels right. It feels right. It feels right. Yeah, I can only say that it feels right. Going with the gut, never had a doubt, felt like this is just a must. Put me in perspective, I'm the deepest in the cut. Everybody tuning in, but this is just for us now. We know I ain't ballin' yet, hoes wanna holler, oh no, I don't call them back. Girl, let me see you hold it down, we gon' have a blast. Cause I just wanna know what you gonna do with all of that. Ain't gotta say a word, I know what's up. You can have it all, watch me rip it off. I'll admit it, you got me feeling hella loved. Even when it's going down, know that we gon' live it up. Young shot caller, always been a baller. Know that you the one, I can feel it in my heart. Yeah, I won't stop charging me, go and come harder. I can see you and I, way beyond the stars, girl. I can never ever find the right words, and there's no way this is real life. There's no telling you're the right girl, so I can only say that it feels right. It feels right. It feels right. It feels right.
Minor war. keeps burning. We're inviting the night in. Welcome, my heart so full. I'm devoting myself to the night. There's no motive. We're just listening. We're existing. We stay when the music plays. Let out, stop below, and the people sway.
On map 1, it was an incredibly close affair, but it seems Pantheon weren't quite prepared for how strong the Boba bounce back is. And now they have to regain the momentum after a crushing 13-1 defeat on Ascent.
We know that Boba can do that type of thing. We know Boba's such a strong mentally team, but the big question is, for me at least, can Pantheon do the same thing? We're going to be on Abyss, a map that, I mean, probably newer to both teams realistically, and I'm really interested to see what kind of meta we do see from both these teams, as Fossey is going to be picking up that Yoru. I mean, no surprises really there. We're going to get that Viper and the Astra for them. On the other side, though, they're doing the one controller there. First Celery has to be the biggest player here, hasn't had the best time in this series thus far, but we are going to see that double initiator setup come from Pantheon to try and win this game.
Yeah, I mean, and I'm more used to seeing the, at least for Boba's comp, I'm more used to seeing the Omen, but I do still like this Astra, Cypher, and Viper setup. Hopefully really strong in defense, but, I mean, it's Abyss. Anything can happen. It's a cesspool of a map, unfortunately.
It's a cesspool of a map, she says. We'll have to see, though, as Scorpio is going back onto the Duelist, which just raised a lot of red flags last match. It was just found absolutely nothing compared to what they're able to find on Lotus. Definitely need to see a bigger performance. The 1v9 King needs to show us something here, as Boba, they're coming off that super strong start. They have won all 4 pistols thus far. We need to see this Pantheon team win a pistol. We need to see them find a good start for them to win this map, and we'll have to see how this Astra does for both teams. Astra's been so prevalent from what I've seen, at least. So very good character in general, and Boba going to be going with the 3-1-1 setup here and run the map.
We need to start seeing more of those hero moments out of Pantheon. Phoebe, Scorpio, they need to step up. Toxic Tony will be on the sidelines for this round as they're quickly taken out by Fossey. Now they're just going to creep forward onto this B site. That plant will come through. Wonderland holds off and gets a kill at least. Fossey's still quite low as well. So Wonderland's able to deal with that player too. Brought down to 35 HP, and it's a 3v3, eventually dealt with by the shock darts. Now it's man disadvantage for Pantheon as they're trying to break through on this retake. It's too strong of a setup from Boba. Scorpio left alone. A very clean shot to open it up, but not able to get over the second hurdle.
The right clicks are too strong, and now that is 5. Okay, Static. Static just keeps saying jiggly, and that's 5 pistols now for Boba. Again, starting off super strong. And you just saw Tofu just stay alive just for so long on that site, able to find the right click kills, and that could have been close there for Scorpio because there was the one-shot Tofu, but just wasn't enough. Very good start once again for Boba. Can they find anything here? We're on Abyss. Anything can happen, just like Randy said, and I'm interested to see if we could see our first curse potentially of this tournament, or of this series, sorry. As it does look, they are going to be going towards B as well. The camera is still set up. They still have both players. I hope Tony does not go down, or Wonderland doesn't go down early, because that was something that helped Boba do so well on the site last time.
Should be a comfortable round here for Boba. Surely nothing slips through the cracks here. Wonderland aggressive on this angle. I'm not sure if they've been spotted out yet, so it could potentially go unchecked. However, Boba do tend to be a bit more on the diligent side, especially with this new lineup and the new playstyle we've found them utilizing. Fossey opens it up, Scorpio goes down in mid, and Boba start to reposition over towards a vacant A site.
Yeah, with that rotate coming over, Baby just going to be way too far away. This should be a pretty free round here for the side of Boba. We'll see if anything does get skewed. We do see Serendipity in this interesting situation, and Celery will get spotted out. Fossey will find another. This round surely goes to this Boba team as Fossey being aggressive.
It could very well be a flawless round. Fossey gets the third, will go down. So flawless avoided, but Pantheon lose the round nonetheless.
That is probably as clean as you do it. It's kind of similar to last map now, where Boba win a pretty simple round there. Now that they head to their bonus, they're going to be buying a very small amount of gun here for Fossey. Fossey has quite a bit of economy to use as they are 4-2 and looking very good so far. We'll have to see how this Pantheon team can come back here. This is where it all goes because Boba were able to start off 3-0 and that kind of snowballed their way into winning every single thing in the last map. But this is attack this time. Their attack did look quite good last time, but of course that was on the back of they've won 11 rounds. We'll have to see what Pantheon can do here as they break the door, or as Boba break the door.
But we want to open up mid. They've been putting a lot of pressure towards it so far, and Celery doesn't want to be too aggressive on their hold. They're going to respect this utility from Boba, take a more passive stance. That means that there's going to be a lack of information for Pantheon to work with inside of this round. Fufu sending out the cages, sonar dart to poke and prod at this A site. It's a very slow round from Boba. They're wanting to bait out all the utility they can and try and set up for a possible late exec. They're so spread out across the map. They're going to start to put their eyes towards this B site as the spike rotates over. The penny is going to drop, and will this anchor of none other than Wonderland be able to hold off? It feels like a lot being left on his shoulders right now. He does manage to get the kill inside of mid. Or actually towards B rather, or A rather. This is looking possibly good for the side of Pantheon as they get another kill. So it's 3v4 as we enter the post plant. Look at this flank from Fossey. Could be huge. They're not anticipating this angle, but everything falls to Fossey. It's too much to deal with. 3 alive.
Yeah, a bit of whiff there from the side of Boba, but it doesn't matter as they were able to get 2 picks, but Pantheon, they played that quite good. Toxic Tony played super fast on the B site, able to find the flanking kills, which was able to get them that round in general. Overall, Wonderland able to find that trade, very nicely done, and Pantheon, they stopped the 3-0 from happening. They do lose a bit of guns, but overall, I think they're totally fine with that. Wonderland will have that neural theft, will be very difficult to use because of how Boba has played so far, but look at Boba's ultimates. They have a Hunter's Fury, they have a Cosmic Divide that can be so useful. Very good ultimates here, and even the Dimensional Drift. If Boba use it to perfection like they normally do, you have to be very scared if you are in this round for Pantheon.
A lot available for Boba to work with, and the economy is beginning to be stretched thin for both teams ever so slightly. So this round could be pretty impactful for how the rest of the map plays out. Fossey sends some utility down mid, wants to start creating some problems, creating some divergence for the rest of their team to try and move in on this B site. That's exactly what they're going to start to do, lurking up through this smoke. Going to try and work off the back of this dimensional drift, getting a lot of information out of it, clearing out the site and identifying where Wonderland is. He's peeking over the box. Boba know exactly how to deal with the situation. Inside of Heaven, it can't quite stall out this plant, so Boba are looking good in the post.
Oh my.
Scorpio manages to get 1 kill back, dashing forward, trying to create some problems, trying to disjoint some of these players. It's going to just peek through onto the other side of this Cosmic Divide. Fossey right below them is going to be dealt with. but Scorpio's got a lot on their plate to do, and Toxic Tony is going to try and support, dashing forward, and it's just going to be dealt with swiftly as Serendipity doubles up at the end.
Yeah, I mean, and they managed to hold on to that Hunter's Fury as well, so that should be another post plant, hopefully secured with it.
Yeah, it was very well done there, and they're able to they may have only kept 2 guns, but I think that is exactly what you want, as they're going to force this Pantheon team onto a weird buy. It looks like Celery might be buying a rifle here. I'm not sure if that will be sold. It should be, hopefully, because that is a very dangerous weapon, or dangerous economy to lose, and we haven't really seen Celery been able to shoot people in the series so far. Yeah, it will be bought, and we're going to see another gun round here for Boba. If they can win this cleanly, we're going to see quite a good advantage so far for them. And like you mentioned before, Randy, the Hunter's Fury is still available. But Scorpio
trying to be the hero that Pantheon needs. He opens up the round onto Fossey in this eco. Could be a very good start to try and get a foothold here and wrestle away around from Boba.
Yeah, they're going to look to get this weapon away, though, not let anyone have it, and it's gone pretty easily done there. And look at this positioning here from Clay. He's got so far up mid as well. Could definitely find some sort of advantage here on the attack. But either way, Boba, they're kind of corralled. They're still in their spawn with the spike. Nothing is found so far. I still really like what Pantheon has done for this round, but can they find more? Oh, Clay's Scorpio.
Yeah, Scorpio manages to find more indeed. That's going to be an upgrade as well. Manages to get their hands onto a Vandal. It could possibly continue to snowball this round as Boba are kind of falling apart at the seams. What looked to be a very easy round to convert has proven to be a lot more difficult than anticipated, and now they have to break through this B site with Wonderland looking to hold off. Has a stinger in hand. They can close the distance. They can cause some problems here. Pushing into the smoke, spotted out by the dart and dealt with effectively. That plant is gonna come through, and Boba are gonna have a solid shot into holding this, especially with that Hunter's Fury still available.
All 3 are back as well, but Jigglypuff is in a very weird spot. Can definitely get killed here if they do pop it, so it's going to be even harder to use this Hunter's Fury.
Very forward stance from Jigglytofu, and they're going to go down. Scorpio 4 on the round, looking for yet another ace. It's all up to Fufu in the 1v5, but Scorpio is the only one to claim 5.
Thrifty ace there from the side of Pantheon. Huge for Scorpio to get back in this game. Did not show much in that last map on this jet, and now this time finds a very clean shot on the Fossey. Kills Clays, which Clays the main focal point of that round loss. I love Clays so much, but you cannot whiff on those shots. And from what we saw on the map, Scorpio just flicks around behind, able to find the kill, and overall a 3v5 cannot be won there from the side of Boba. They keep the Hunter's Fury once again. Very poor positioning there from Tofu overall. But either way, very nicely played, as they are going to force a very weird buy now onto Boba. There's going to be 3 rifles, 2 sheriffs. I'm interested to see how Boba do end up playing this.
Gonna play it quiet. They're gonna just lurk up this wall, and now Wonderland is not gonna have a full idea as to where these players are. It's a lot of utility reigns in. Wonderland has to respect it and just backs off. The camera gets destroyed, so no more information to work off of, but gets an idea for where these post-plant positions are, at least for now. Boba are gonna start to reposition. It's 5v5, and could come down to a very big brawl. Could go either way for sure, but Serendipity gets ready for the lineup on the front lines. It's going to be Boba to initially hold off the aggression, but a quick response from the rest of Pantheon, and there's so much stall available to Boba. Clays takes out 1 in the background, is just going to be claiming these kills, and it's too much for Toxic Tony to do.
Yeah, it's way too difficult. Will get shot by Clays at the 3 Clay on the flank, and everyone is going to be dying in this round. The Hunter's Fury was used, did not find much, but it did find the stall for the rest of the round. 4-2 now for Boba, but the ultimates are here now for the side of Pantheon. That's 4 coming up. They will have a buy into this round. Scorpio going to probably opt for the Blade Storm. Either way, this round is going to be quite tight. We're going to see a force out of Boba as well. If Boba loses this round, this game is very much going to be tied.
This is gonna come down to the economy game. It certainly feels like it's really gonna be difficult to recover from these rounds where as soon as you lose it, you're basically forced onto a very unfortunate eco. Sort of the same back and forth nature that we saw in Lotus, and
No.
Land falls off the map. Just terrible for the looks of Pantheon in this round. However, Scorpio does manage to even up the man count.
No ciphers in this game, and Fufu will get, or Fossey will get taken down as well. That is huge for Scorpio to save this round.
Toxic Tony with the thrash as well, but overwhelmed by the peaks. Serendipity doubles up to try and protect their teammate. Comes down to the 2v2. They pop the Viper's Pit to try and get this spike down, but Serendipity pushes out of the smoke, which means that the breach can lurk in. It's a 1v1 now. Serendipity up against none other than Scorpio, and they're jumping around the box. Serendipity is able to close.
Ooh, what a round that was. Back and forth. And it all kind of was the reason because Wonderland unfortunately missed the jump to go down to B main. And definitely not what you want if you're the Cypher. Scorpio did all they could to try and get that back, but all the jumps from Serendipity just too strong against Scorpio, I guess you could say. Very nicely done. Boba, they're up 5-2, and they force another weird buy onto this Pantheon team. It does look like they are going to opt for one rifle. Either way, well played from Boba. They win that round. They're up by 3.
Scorpio really does have to do it all, and sometimes it's just too much to handle. So they can't get that final kill in the round. They'll find the opener to this one, and Toxic Tony doubles up on the other side of the map. Scorpio cleans up yet another, and it's looking like Pantheon are going to be getting right back into the swing of things as everything's left up to Clays in a 1v5. We've seen crazy clutches from him before, but his position is known from the neural theft, and this just feels like too tall of a task.
What a collapse again from Boba. Like, every time they sometimes are able to do something. I mean, this Scorpio is just destroying them. They keep trying to attack A main, and they lose it every single time. Fossey just keeps dying to Scorpio, and they're just not really letting up. They just keep making the same mistakes over and over again, and that's going to give Pantheon a potential chance to get back into this game. They're not able to buy into next round. We're going to see Clays with the rifle. But besides that, they don't really have the money to buy much else. Pantheon, they're starting to rack up some economy now, which is going to be very helpful. And like we mentioned earlier, yes, Boba do have the round advantage, but the economy has always been in Pantheon's lead for almost the entire game so far. They've looked very good. Boba, you need to figure it out.
I mean, this comp, I love it, but they have 3 lurk characters, and I mean, the rounds they've won have been, when Clay secured that round by lurking up through mid as Astra, when we've seen them put adequate pressure on mid, but swinging into A main with what your duelist and initiator and losing them early on, I mean, that just really can't be happening. I think they need to really utilize the characters that they've selected for this map and stop trying to just work your way into a place that you don't need to be in, quite frankly.
Kind of feels like as well, they've been better playing as a team than just doing these lurk plays. I feel like it was a problem on map 1 as well, where they've tried to lurk these plays. Clays would get picked constantly, and that's kind of the same situation now. And we are going to see this team potentially play together. No, they're going to send the rifle. I don't know what Bo's doing. It kind of feels like a bit frantic at this point. We're going to see Scorpio with some huge positioning up mid, going to lurk super far up. They're going to get caught by Wonderland with these trips, so going to be hard for Bo to actually hit the site.
We're just going to try and overwhelm the site. They're going to do so effectively to breach that front lines. They're able to get in there, start getting that plant down. However, Wonderland doubles up on the site, and Fufu is only able to wrestle one back. Wonderland is trying to stand strong for more, but Clays responds, and it's all down to Clays in the 1v3. Only 12 bullets left in the Vandal, so it's going to have to be some clean kills, especially with such low HP. And it seems like Pantheon have an idea for where he's at as they send in the utility to keep him contained to this defender's spawn side. It's looking unwinnable for Clays.
I mean, we've said that before, but you never know what can happen. But if you are Clays, you really want to get a lot more value with this rifle. Kind of got the kills after everyone was dead. Not the best situation, but Clays does have a situation here. Does spot out Scorpio, sees talk to Tony, knows every position of these players.
Clean shot, manages to dink Tony through the wall as well on the drop, and now has 20 seconds to try and mastermind this round. It's an off angle from Tony, and it's going to be the high-low Scorpio doubling up as well, but has to keep their eyes on this smoke. Only 10 seconds left. It's got to be quick from Clays, and as that smoke fades, is gonna win out the fight. Oh my god! How on earth has Clays pulled that off?
An unwinnable round, says Algeria, but like I said, we've been here before. Plays with a monstrous round to win it for them. I don't know what to say. 4K for Clays and a huge buff for Boba to keep them in this game. If they lost that, their economy would surely make it a tie one, but Clays with a monstrous effort makes it 12-4-1 for his KD and 6-3 in this half.
I'm speechless. How did Pantheon lose that? There was so little time. Clays had no HP to work with. I mean, a complete collapse in how to play a 1v or a. I don't even know. I'm speechless, man.
And now we see a double flanker coming from the side of Pantheon, but that will give them a free sight for Boa. Dimensional Drift will spot out the players. They'll have to move back. Now we'll have to see if Scorpio can clutch out this round again. I don't believe Boba is really looking at it besides these trips, so we'll see what kind of positions they take.
5v5 post plant, and the Cosmic Divide is added on top of a Rolling Thunder to try and break through this site. Serendipity caught out as these flankers are starting to pinch in, and Fossey has to step up, and he does so well to get two, and it's all left up to Fufu, but Wingman's diffusing, and Phoebe holds strong.
The ultimate usage there from the side of Pantheon will keep them in this game. Good Rolling Thunder there from Phoebe to keep them at bay. We saw the Scorpio flank going really well. Celery used that Cosmic Divide to definitely block off that site. And like I mentioned, Scorpio on the flank, able to find some picks as well right now. This game does kind of feel like, can Scorpio find a lot of these flank kills? Can they find the opening kills? Because it has definitely been one of their win conditions so far, as Boba, they are going to be forced onto an eco. They get 6 rounds, something they definitely really wanted in this half. And we'll see what kind of things Scorpio will do early in this one, as once again, Clays the hero rifle.
Yeah, but we've seen exactly what that hero rifle can do, so don't count Boba out of this yet. They also have a few ultimates to work with. Spectre, or the Cosmic Divide alongside of this. Yeah, wrong game. Yeah, dead game as well. Already.
Okay, don't cry.
Yeah. And I mean, I feel like we gotta say the same thing to Pantheon, as another eco is falling out of their hands.
Are you sure about that?
Managed to get this tied back up, and the spike is dropped inside of mid, but there's still some spread out Boba members that could cause some problems. Look at Clay starting to work their way around. It's a 1v3 again, and the Neural Theft is thrown out. So Clay is surely in an unwinnable clutch.
Yeah, there's a thrash this time, but we'll be shot down. You never know what can happen. This time it does feel a lot more rough because Clays knows where each member is, and definitely made it a lot easier. 30 seconds less time that they had before, but they will push out and will get spammed. Talk to Tony, picks up a 3K, and Boba's round that did look close for a moment, just wasn't really enough. That thrash from Tony absolutely won them that round.
Bad news. The bad news is that, well, attackers lost the round. But the good news is that there's no more thrash. There's no more thrash. They're one off a Yoru ult. I mean, they're going to be possibly going into this next round with 4 ults and guns for their entire team. This should be looking good for the attackers. But again, it's Abyss. Anything can happen.
Yeah, and Scorpio's on this A site too. We know how Fossey and Scorpio have played out so far this game. Scorpio has had his number. Will it happen again though?
Scorpio jiggling out of a main here, wants to get the information and secures the fact that there's a lot of Boba members here. Dashing right back into the awaiting arms of his teammate. Will be held comfortably in them as the site execute comes out. There's quite a bit of Pantheon here to try and hold off this assault, but the Hunter's Fury is going to find some good damage. Scorpio, a good response to Fossey coming out of that dimensional drift and doubles up as well. Serendipity is right back in it though. Spike on their back, so it will be lost as Scorpio gets back into the equation, and Fufu and Tofu have to pick up the pieces 2v2, and now it falls apart as Scorpio gets 4 on the round for a 6-6 half.
The 1v9 King Scorpio, what do you put in your Cheerios? Because holy, you are the savior of this team. I mean, that looked so unwinnable for them. It looked so difficult, but Fossey, with a mechanical mistake, did a bad flash. Scorpio, easy kill, will just farm off it, essentially, able to find even more. 4K on the round, 16-6-2, top fragging the game. I mean, what's new? Scorpio is on another level. Bounce back after the last game that they had. This is a 6-6 half. I expect nothing else on Abyss here.
Yeah, I mean, Abyss, attack sided, defense sided, whatever it may be. I mean, this is a close map. This is an exciting map. Hopefully it continues that way.
Yeah, we'll have to see. This is another pistol, the 6th pistol, the final pistol of this series. Boba has won all 5 thus far, giving them major advantages in this game, but since they're giving up this A site, this is finally their chance. Can Pantheon win a pistol round?
Scorpio dashing into the site, wants to set the pace of this half, and will do so effectively as that plant goes down. It's 5v5 post plant. It's going to be absolute chaos as we start to trickle in with the defenders trying to get back into the site. Wonderland cuts one down. Scorpio adds the tally, and Pantheon look to put their first pistol on the board in flawless fashion.
I mean, it's a collapse from Boba. We are seeing the exact opposite in a way from what happened on the second map. Boba are starting to collapse here. The mental is going down, and just like what happened the first map with their lead, just like what is feeling like what is happening now, Pantheon, they are taking the driver's seat. Boba, they're looking lost. Fossey cannot find anything, and this team is looking to dominate now with Scorpio at the head of the table as they look to go A.
Scorpio at the head indeed. Gone so huge in this series, and this map is no exception. Right back to their form that they had on Lotus. They're looking to exploit this Boba A site as it falls once again. It is a full save from Boba, so this should be Pantheon's round quick and clean.
I mean, you never know, but Scorpio's alive and looking for more blood. Might get taken down here with the pistol, but the Wisp come through. Another 3K for Scorpio, and a flawless 2 times in a row. Boba, we need to see you come back from this one like you did on the first map, because this is looking all Pantheon in this half. I see no stopping them so far.
Yeah, I mean, it's looking a little bit rough for where, I mean, I would like to see, Boba as a whole, maybe look a little bit more coordinated. They've been kind of slipping, maybe with, some flashes looking weird, some darts looking weird, swinging on their own. I feel like if they can really play together like a team, like they did that second map, they have a much better shot at this game.
Rifle available to Scorpio as well. Hero rifles have been very impactful here on Abyss. As Clays pushes up into their own smoke, it's looking to cause a couple of problems early on for Pantheon in this round. It's going to spot out the leg of Phoebe, so they'll go down for free. Clays is just going to be able to slip right back into the site.
You can still see the confidence from Boba, even though they've lost these plays time and time again. They're still going for them, and this time they do win out on it. They'll get the man advantage. They most likely know that there will be some sort of rotate happening. You can see the players kind of backing off all the way as Fufu definitely gonna need to hold this down. Wonderland, this is your time to shine.
Serendipity is able to hold off inside of mid, though. Wonderland not able to collect with the Spectre. Now it's looking like Fufu is next up to bat as they deny the wingman going into the site. It's a good setup from the Cypher to prevent the attack from getting in here. Toxic
Never
Tony.
underestimate Scorpio.
Scorpio could certainly still have impact, but very low HP, so it's going to have to be clean as well. So they're going to get this plant down. Should be able to go down. No, they're planting in the front, so Celery does go down for getting that plant out, and now it's all left up to Tony in the 1v5. And has the Guardian to try and spam through. Will manage to get one, but the spike is already to half.
God, that spam is so obnoxious. Does do a lot of damage, actually, to Boba's armor, and even gets the pick as well. That's actually not terrible for Tony. The only problem is he does stay alive, so not the best economy-wise, but still able to buy into this next round because that was their bonus overall. Very nicely played there from Boba, able to find a lot of picks, played that very nicely with the Cypher Cam, with all the smoke space as well, and they just couldn't do enough. I do want to point out once again, I know I've glazed them for this whole series and this whole tournament. 21-7-2 right now for Scorpio. They're looking like a sub right now because they are on fire.
A little bit of
I'm gonna keep making that joke.
Mountain Mayhem drama, you know, thrown in there. Randy last week saying that they wish they could have cashed in on that sub look.
And Boba, they're back in this game. They do get the plant down. This is still doable though for Pantheon. They will have to rotate over from Wonderland to help them out.
Aldrin sent out to try and figure out where these players are. Even Fossey trying to jump spot for the information. Teleports back towards Heaven. So now is going to be responsible for the coverage as there's so much thrown down onto this spike. It's going to have to be a full defuse, and Fossey a very clean closing.
Is Fossey maybe back here? We have seen some potential mental collapses from him, and that 3K definitely will boost the ego. Has that dimensional drift. And that's a very nice flawless. They needed that. They almost got the flawless last round. They get it this round, and that is gonna put. I mean, it's gonna put them back in, or it's gonna put Pantheon back into another weird buy. I wonder what they will end up doing. I hope they do have some sort of save in mind, but they are looking confident here. We might see them actually buy into this round. Tony does have the money. Scorpio is one off that Blade Storm, which has been so prevalent in this map. This Blade Storm of Scorpio, we know how accurate Scorpio's shot is, and this Blade Storm makes no misses almost.
Yeah, they're going to definitely try and get that online. Be very instrumental. I believe we saw a 3 or a 4K out of Scorpio in the last Blade Storm that they popped, so it's a deadly ultimate to have in your hands, especially in a player as capable as the 1v9 carry god himself, as Rhodes would put it.
And they give the Blade Storm too, so we'll have to see what they can do with it. Won't have the dash for the round, but I mean, if you're Scorpio, you don't need it. You just need some heads to shoot, and they're going to give it as they're going to be heading towards this B site. It is only Serendipity for now. Does have a lot of Cypher utility use, and the rotates are going to be clean. Wonderland is the main focal point of this round, though, for the side of Pantheon. If he dies, this is not a very good situation.
My focus is a lot on how Fossey is going to utilize this dimensional drift as they start to make their way over towards the B site. It's revealed that this is where the attack is coming in, and Fufu even manages to catch out Wonderland on the mid lurk. So it's a good foothold for Boba, and with that, they're going to try and grab it by the horns. Fossey in the face of Celery right now, but Celery doesn't flinch. It's just going to hold strong. Fossey coming out of the drift is going to get a kill, but quickly traded back by Toxic Tony, who's doubled up inside of this round. Jiggly Tofu tap on the spike, manages to take out the player, and everyone on Pantheon falls.
The player advantage is too much, like you mentioned as well. The dimensional drift, very well used. Of course, Cellular was able to find a pick before they died, but Tofu stays alive, able to find the kills, and Clay's and both Tofu able to find they're both 1-for-1. So that's 3 in a row for Boba. They might be back here. They might be unmentally collapsed. Their defense is starting to look pretty good. Their gun rounds have definitely evolved since we've seen in the first half. So maybe they're more comfortable on defense, who knows, as we're going to see the first eco kind of for the side of Pantheon. Toxic Tony will be having that Vandal and that Martial full armor for Scorpio. If they can find Fossey early in this round, that could be a huge pick to give them some more leeway.
The irony is strong with Boba. As soon as they lose a pistol, they start piecing together their rifle rounds. Well, no matter what, they're going to take anything that they can get to try and pull this victory through. Abyss is looking to be just as close as Lotus was. But Boba are certainly looking a lot stronger in the last few rounds.
Wonderland pulled some aggro to B a bit, so it does stop Serendipity on the rotate, but that might actually hurt Wonderland, actually, because it will be spotted out. Has the Marshal now to use. This definitely could be an interesting 1v1.
Be a rather impactful one as well, as Serendipity is pretty much just assuring Boba that their backline is clear and that they can focus on the site itself. As it starts to come in, they actually started to rotate off of A, so a lot falls onto Clays to do the heavy lifting, and well, they're gonna do well to find two. Jiggly Tofu inside of Heaven is just gonna look to pounce out as soon as they have an opportunity. They're gonna start to identify that both these players are towards main and start to systematically eliminate them.
I mean, it was a really good idea there from the side of Pantheon because the timing actually really favored them. Fossey teleported back to his spawn to go help B potentially, and they were able to push site, but Clay's too strong on it. Very well played, and Boba is starting to get a lead now. Pantheon, you need to figure it out.
Good news for them, though. They do have Astralt and Thrash coming into this next round, and hopefully, they can kind of sniff out some of these defenders that are playing towards site, and maybe have a more secure plant overall.
Hey, they have a neural theft too, you know? They can use that.
I mean, unironically, I think Wonderland absolutely has potential on these lurks to get a kill and give his team so much info with the neural theft.
I think that's also one of the... Sorry, on.
I was just going to say the issue is Boba has been so alert of their flanks and the lurks. It's been really hard to try and get past it. Actually, they're going for a lurk of their own. Clays is trying to push up on the back line. However, it's the B site that's under a lot of pressure. And as Fossey goes down, Serendipity now has to step up. Does good to find one. And even, oh, so close to the second. I really thought they had that lined up. And Phoebe contributes as well. Boba start to fall apart. It's 2v4 as they're looking down the barrel of a very unsavory retake.
They actually doubled up on the lurk this time, so that actually gave them some leeway to win that round, and it doesn't matter how much damage you do, Boba, if you can't find the kills, that round goes to Pantheon. Very well played. They gave Wonderland some help on this lurk, and Phoebe able to capitalize. Very well done there from the side of Pantheon to get back in this game. It's back to a 1 round difference. They get some economy back. They use the ultimates, like we mentioned before, that Cosmic Divide, the Thrash. They're only 2 off of that Rolling Thunder now for Phoebe. That could be such a huge ultimate to use for these takes, but for now we'll have to lay off it as Boba. They have some ultimates to use of their own, and that Hunter's Fury is also coming up soon for Tofu. Very scary, the position that Pantheon are currently in. The disadvantage they can definitely overcome, though.
A very close race between these two. Serendipity is going to throw down the Viper's Pit over here on B. Just wants to make sure that it's not going to fall, especially not at a pretty hefty cost. As Clays has managed to once again find themselves very far up here on the A side of the map. It's going to be hearing these rotates coming in. Trigger Discipline is being played. Toxic Tony doesn't check their back, and now 3 players are exposed, but the Gecko Flash spots out Clays, and by sheer luck, they only have 1 player go down.
That is Scorpio, though. That is a huge kill either way.
Toxic Tony sends out the wingman to get that plant down 4v4, but Fufu has managed to pull things back. It's quickly traded. Phoebe is not letting this fall out of control as it's a double up inside of this smoke. Fossey and Serendipity looking to swing through, and Celery holds strong. A double, and now it's all on Tofu. The captain has to stand strong, and it's too much.
It's whiff galore and a facepalm for Clays. You had the triple, you had the double, but you only took the single because Toxic Tony just barely got the thrash on you, and the rest of the team, their aim explodes. Nothing worked out whatsoever for what Bo was trying to do. They just couldn't aim on these players, and you just saw the whiffs go absolutely crazy. This game is once again tied, and we're going to see Boba use essentially all their expended last economy on an operator for Fosse. We'll have to see how it works, as nothing is coming of it early.
On a miracle, Pantheon have tied up this scoreline. Both teams now on double digits, and they look to try and run away with things. It's a full buy right back from Boba, though, so you're not quite out of the woods yet. You still have a ways to go before you're feeling comfortable in this series, in this map.
Fosse today with this operator just whiff galore. Just it's a waste of money at this point, just not able to find the amount of expenditures whatsoever as this A site is pushed.
Rash comes through as well. Scorpio gets the opening kill on Duclays, and Tofu is left stranded in heaven. The Yoru clone gets sent out. It's going to identify only that there are players on the site, and they've already evacuated. All players are now playing from A main, playing for the spam, except for Celery, who's left alone to try and hold off Fufu, which is a fight that they will lose. Scorpio goes up to the high ground, is looking to be an off angle for this high-low, but everything's falling apart, and it's now a 2v2, but they've managed to wrestle it back. Tony is once again that hero for Pantheon.
They were doing so well at playing with each other, and then once again, one peeks out, dies. Another peeks out, dies, and they just played alone at the end. It was such a big advantage, 4 versus 2, but they just throw it all away. Boba, with these mechanical errors, are just absolutely losing the game for themselves, and they're going to be going on to their last full buy of this game if they cannot win this round. A huge advantage here now for the side of Pantheon. They don't have ultimates to use. Boba, they still have such huge advantages for those. But at this point, with how the mechanical errors are fearing for the side of Boba, Pantheon, they might as well have 10 ultimates on the board.
It's so brutal here for Boba. It really feels like that one Gecko flash is what has sealed their fate here on Abyss, and now they just can't recover. They now have to hold off match point and try and push this into the full length of regulation. They identify Scorpio on this A site, force them back. However, B is completely vacant.
Yeah, I mean, everyone has rotated over. It's going to be Serendipity going to go check. We'll probably spot out a few members and then realize, hey, we need some help here, and that's exactly what's going to happen.
Is looking very spread out from Boba right now, but they're going to start to rotate over towards B. They have an idea that this is where the attack wants to go, and as Wingman is sent out, the plant will go down, which means Fosse is going to activate this dimensional drift, wants to get the information. Fufu spots out Phoebe inside of mid, but there's 2 players here, and that's going to be difficult to deal with, especially with these Phantoms struggling at those longer ranges. Serendipity is just holding this defuse, though, and the Cosmic Divide comes through as well. Boba are just trying to full hold this, but barely denied at the last second, and now Fosse has to pick up the pieces, holding for the coverage on their teammate, but Tony denies the defuse once again. Clay's trying to stick it, but is denied as well, and it's match point for Pantheon.
What a round there. The ultimates, again, just not good enough. The utility was too strong there for Pantheon to held them off. And that was 4 rounds in a row for Boba. Now it's 4 in a row for Pantheon. We are on match point. We're on series point. And Boba, with everything we've seen so far, they might as well not be in this at all anymore. Toxic Tony and Scorpio running this game away. Huge rounds back to back to back to back. And Pantheon are here to win it. They're here to do an upset and give Boba their 2nd series loss in this tournament, and Toxic Tony has a thrash to use as well.
It's looking like it's fully teed up for Pantheon. The economy is shattered. They have access to an ultimate that can completely clear out a site. As Clays is just trying to set up smokes to hold off this push, is going to be under the pressure. It's just going to smoke themselves, playing
Clays?
aggressively on this bridge, and could possibly find a multi if they're able to pop through properly. Oh my god, Boba collapsed on the site off of a recon dart. Tofu has lined up this round for Boba, and now they just have to try and push it one more step further for overtime.
No bomb whatsoever. They have to rotate. They need to find something. It looks like they might just want to save it. I mean, they have the economy to buy into next one. They need to look for blood here. There's no point saving. That does nothing. And Fufu here. Ares galore, baby.
Is even gonna collect the second as well. We need all of regulation for this matchup, and Boba are trying to push this to overtime.
Randy, can they do it? Can Boba tie up this game as Scorpio will buy an attacker op?
I think, I mean, these teams have been so flippy floppy. I mean, between what looked like a scuffed Astra ult a couple rounds ago to not allow the defuse to go through, to whiffs on both sides, I think this is going to be an absolutely messy and scrappy round in our last round of regulation.
Yeah, it's going to be absolutely wild. We have a Blade Storm for Scorpio up too if they decide to use it, and will most likely. The only ultimate that is near for both sides, or that is up, is Fufu's Neural Theft, but Boba's never been an opportunity to get that opening kill, so we need to see what they can do. Serendipity. Oh no.
Caught out by the Dizzy Flash, is going to be under a lot of pressure to perform for their team. And my god, what a shot to do so. Scorpio is sniped out of this round, and Serendipity has found an opening for overtime. Now all Boba have to do is seize it. As Serendipity goes down, it's brought back to a 4v4. Neural Theft thrown out from the attack to identify where all these players are, and Wingman will get this plant down. It's a 4v4 retake, and Boba have to make this work off of a defuse that eluded them previously. Toxic Tony manages to take out Tofu. It's falling apart for Boba here. They need to try and dig their feet in and try and find these kills. Fossey pushing up, but no noise is being made by either side. They're playing it so very safe. Toxic Tony falls on the timing though, and Fossey tries to double up. Neural Theft goes out. The suck can't pull him off. No! Just hold for the fizz. Clays gets back on it. Falls up the map. Clays pushes to overtime.
Oh my god.
What's happening?
What just happened? Wonderland! Oh my god, they missed the jump again!
Wonderland! No!
This game... I mean, did Randy not say it, or did Randy not say it? This game was gonna be flippy floppy around, and oh my god, that is... Dude, this match is going down in history in this tournament. In a pause with the final seconds left, what is this match? I don't even know what we can do to decompress at this point.
What? Wonderland falls off the map once again, but this time it is so much more devastating than before, and now Boba have, by the skin of their teeth and purely a miracle like what Pantheon had in regulation, have pushed this to overtime.
I might need to make a highlight video of this. I think this is worthy of me
Off the YouTube
getting
channel.
Yeah, I think this is worthy of me getting off my ass and making a highlight, because I mean, this is one of the most interesting series. It's probably the best series we've seen so far in this tournament. It's been kind of mid. I'm not gonna lie. A lot of these games, they've been either very lopsided or there's not many crazy plays. But this one in specifically, the first map, we had the 1v5 ace. We had plenty of clutches. Map 2, the absolute dominance from Boba. There's no way they do poorly in map 3. And then map 3, we see them come out swing. They win another pistol. They have a good lead, but then Pantheon, once again, they build it back. They finally win their first pistol of the series. And then Boba, once again, they reel themselves back. They're like, hey, we're back in this. We're going to win this game. And then again, Pantheon go absolutely crazy. And now we're finally here in overtime in one of the most crazy series I've ever casted.
I'm pretty sure we were both peeking our mics as Wonderland fell off of the map, and now Pantheon have to try and recover from, I mean, a blunder of ludicrous proportions.
Well, we are back on defense. A place that Pantheon late in that half looked very good on, and Clay is potentially finding a very good timing here. If Clays can find this timing, this could be a round win already for this Boa team.
It shut down Scorpio and Toxic Tony, who have been huge members for Pantheon, but Clays can't find the shot. So Toxic Tony and Scorpio collect the kill. As that plant goes down on the B site, the attack have to be careful of their backline as it's being harassed by Scorpio and Tony. They're going to start to try and peek in from this mid window. This could go out of hand for Boba. The smokes are sent up, utility is sent out. Boba can't focus on the front line because of this flank. It's such a problem, and they can't hold it off properly. It has to be Fufu to step up, and step up he does. A double kill on the site, and dancing around the pillar. It's all up to Serendipity 1v2, and he doesn't have the HP for the job.
Wait,
What
they don't have a... Sorry, didn't defuse. That round goes to Boba with 45. Oh no!
They are being handed rounds on a silver platter right now.
I don't. What do you even say? I ran out of water. Like, this is, my voice is screwed now. Like, this game is flipped on its head. Boba win an unlosable or unwinnable round, essentially, because Celery found the pick, but just didn't know where the player was, and I guess just didn't defuse. That's so unfortunate.
If you told me that
losing unlosable, that's impressive.
Losing unlosable.
if you told me that Clay's clutch was the least unwinnable round that Boba wins, I wouldn't believe you, but here we are, back to back. Boba are gifted around, and they look to run away with it as the wingman gets taken down trying to plant. Serendipity and Fossey are looking to crush the dreams of Pantheon in this upset. It might just slip through their fingers, but Scorpio and Celery are looking to correct the course. Toxic Tony trying to get that plant down and will do so successfully, and Celery rights his wrongs in the last round by doubling up and giving Pantheon another shot. It's Clays and Tofu to try and pull this over the line for Boba. Tofu starts it out well, but Clays has to clutch once again, has managed to lurk around the smoke, and now has a chance at this defuse tap on the spike, but Celery corrects.
Celery with a huge round to keep the team in it. Another crap fest from both of them, and Celery will pick up a 3K. Their best game so far in this series, 14, 15, and 4. Has to show up here and found that impactful kill. Able to kill the player in heaven, able to kill even more and win that round finally for the side of Pantheon, as we are going to the second version of this overtime where I expect even more chaos, even more fun. And that is definitely what we're going to see as Toxic Tony and Scorpio going to continue to pull pressure onto this A main site.
Plays once again trying to hold off this flank, wasn't successful in their last attempt. Scorpio and Tony were able to just take him out of the round, but Boba won it nonetheless.
Oh, Wonderland.
Find value could be massive. Wonderland, though, back of the site, is looking to deny this plant. Will do so successfully, but can't get away with their life. It's come down to a 4v4, and two of these members are off the site, as confirmed by Clays being so far back on this flank hold, and can now lurk into mid to cause so many problems. So this plant goes down from Boba. That timer is going to be
only 2v2 on site.
Yeah, it's so weird of a round. Boba have repositioned themselves to put a heavy presence on mid. They want to try and lurk through onto this. A very awkward fight in mid, and Clays can't find the shot, so Scorpio manages to get the kill, and Pantheon are starting to potentially run away with this round. Fufu goes down on the site, and it's all up to Fossey. 1v4, and they can't do it all. It's gonna be match point once again for Pantheon.
Clays with too much pressure, and once again he whiffs, and whiffs. Scorpio will die to Toxic Tony, and you're just really seeing the pressure for these teams. And you see it there from Clay's, had a perfect opportunity for a kill Scorpio earlier in the round, had another perfect opportunity in mid, but hit 0 shots. Definitely not what you want, and you can just see the pressure being put on this Boa team. They need someone to stop shaking. They need to start progressing because they are on loser match point once again. And I do not see a stop in Scorpio right now. He's looking to win this map for his team. The 1v9 king is here.
You can't say that though, because Toxic Tony is his right-hand man just behind him, and even a higher KDR right now. Toxic Tony has been instrumental here on Abyss to try and pull this over the line. They are gifted another match point to try and pull through, and Fossey is isolated in mid.
Definitely a bit scared. We'll probably use the teleport to just get out. We'll spot nothing else, but this A site does look to still be the main focal point for this attack of Pantheon. When they do this go button, it's going to go fast. Tony already has 1 orb into this round, looking to get that extra plant and 1 kill. That Thrash could be extra amazing for them.
Ballpark for Boba in a matter of seconds. These sight angers have to be strong, and Fufu will do well to start it out. Clay is not able to deny that plant, but just lurking inside of this smoke. I don't know if they're aware of his position. Scorpio goes undetected, though, and manages to get a kill, and Toxic Tony is looking to close this out. It's brought to a 2v2, and Fossey has to step up now on the front lines. Fufu trying to come back in through the defender's spawn, can't find the kill, and Fossey goes down as Fufu has it all to do. 1v1, and Phoebe is lined up to win this round and win this series for Pantheon as they look to commit the biggest upset in this league. Fifi will close it out.
What a game from Pantheon to finally win it in second overtime. Boba, they had every opportunity in the world to win this game. They had so many chances, but the amount of degrees that Pantheon made them go through, Toxic Tony and Scorpio, absolutely destroying the competition to make them shake in their boots. What a game there. The amount of pressure, Boba just could not take enough. And Pantheon will get their 3rd win of the tournament and make Boba lose their 2nd. What a match we just witnessed.
We're going to be getting Wonderland here for the interview. An absolutely insane series for the best upset so far in the league. Congratulations, Wonderland, on taking down one of the top teams.
Yeah.
I mean, the biggest question on my mind is how the hell did you guys reset from that devastating loss on Ascent?
All right. So first off, I have to do this because they'll get mad if I don't. Thank you, Beyonce. That's the last. That's the first time I'm gonna be troll. Yeah. I mean, it was like we won the first map. That was their pick, and then obviously, stats show it. We got our asses whooped. Sorry, I don't know if I can cuss on stream. No, I just said like we're fine. Like I don't know what clicked for them or what happened to us, but we just needed to like everyone just take a deep breath and just reset and move on to Abyss. And so did it. Yeah.
I don't have a very good question here, but do you like jumping into the Abyss or like
Yeah,
pastime?
I don't know what happened. None of like I have jump on my scroll wheel and my spacebar, and neither of them decided to work on the one round where I just yeeted off the map on defense. The one on attack, I was just trying to do anything. So yeah, that one was more or less like just throwing bodies out there.
Sorry, I do want to ask as well.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
You guys lost 5 pistols in a row. Was there anything coming into that 6th pistol that actually essentially won you this map? Was there
Honestly-
any specific calls or? Go on.
Honestly, I had no idea that we lost 5 pistols in a row.
Yeah, you guys only won the last pistol.
Yeah, so no, I mean, more or less, it was just continue to play, continue to not stray from our plan. Whatever the plan is that round, we just continue to do it, and I guess it just worked. I didn't even realize that, so that's crazy. I didn't even realize that we didn't win a pistol until the last one.
All right, well, first off, congratulations. Amazing game. So, towards the end of regulation,
Mhm.
the round that pushed the other team into overtime and the round directly after, those were some tricky rounds that some might say kind of were an accident or maybe thrown away. How did you guys mentally come back after 2 rounds in a row where you probably felt that you should have won them?
Yeah, the one that sent us into overtime, I did quite a bit of damage to the Astra. I guess we just thought the Cypher, I think it was the last person with them, was the one
Mhm.
on the spike and didn't realize the Astra was the actual one holding it. Um but we just honestly like the best thing I can say about the the team that my teammates is that we don't really let uh accidents or bad luck kind of get the best of us. We just kind of
Mhm.
focus on what we can control, and that's something I've kind of preached is that just focus on whatever you can control in that moment and not let the kind of those things get the best of us and let everyone down. Like it's just it happens. It's Valorant. It's a game. So whatever it might be, RNG or whatever, we just kind of take it round by round, and if things like that happen, we just all right move on.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you so much.
Well, definitely
Thank you.
proved effective to just take it round by round, especially in overtime where you guys barely were able to pull away with the victory. Congratulations to such a massive upset, and hopefully it allows you guys to snowball into a little bit more. As for us, that's going to be it for tonight. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll catch you in the next stream.
Adios.
Yes.